Hello everyone, I'm finally doing this video game collection video. I tried this before, but I didn't like how it was going, so I scrapped it. But now we're trying it again, so here's to hoping that this one actually makes it to YouTube this time. So, like the title implies, I'm going to be covering every single video game I have. Before anybody judges me, I typically specialize in licensed games. I know that sounds stupid, but that's the whole point of my gaming series. I play crappy licensed games, so, yeah, I've unfortunately went down this path. Kids, don't make the same mistake I'm making. I'll also be covering digital titles towards the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's get started. So, here we have the main bookshelf. This is like the main bookshelf. I have some new shelves on here that were custom made. Not very well done, but like, you know, at least I have more room for this stuff. But yeah, we're starting on the top shelf, which is my PS2 games here. I have them organized both alphabetically and by region, because I actually have a slim PS2 with like a Matrix mod that allows you to play games from any region. So let's start with this one. This is Garfield. This one's pretty bad, actually. This was published by Hip Games and developed by the Code Monkeys. Highly addictive gameplay for the entire family. That is a bold-faced lie. We did not get this version in the US. We ended up getting this on PC. This was the first game I covered for my gaming series back in 2018. That video is really old, so watch at your own risk. Yeah, this is not that good of a game. Then we have Garfield 2, or as the movie was called in the US, Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties. We did not get this version either. We ended up getting the PC version, but not this. This was published by the Game Factory, and it was developed by Asobo Studios. This one's pretty, pretty typical, honestly. I don't really have much to say about this one. I'm not really going to be saying much about the games unless there's anything noteworthy, mainly because if I was doing that, I would be here all day. I don't want this to be dragged out like my Nickelodeon video game collection video. Then we have Garfield. Okay, this is in a different language, but it translates to Saving Arlene. This game, at least the English version of the game, goes for a ton of money. This is, I believe, the Spanish version? I think so. I don't know. French, I'm not sure. But it doesn't really matter, since despite the different language on the cover, it's actually the same disc as the English version, since it's the PAL region. I discovered that recently, or like, not recently, when I got this. And why would I buy the English version for like $200 when I can just buy this version and get the same disc for $30? It makes no sense. People don't understand it. And I really wish the English version didn't cost that much, because this game is actually really bad, honestly. I don't really like this one. So, yeah, not much to say there. Then we have Monsters, Inc. Oh, by the way, this was developed by, it was published by Hip Games, and I think it was developed by, there we go, Ecosystem.com. They are not that good. I don't like those guys. Okay, then we have Monsters, Inc. Scare Island. This is the PS2 version of what would be called here Scream Team. We didn't get this one, probably because we had a Monsters, Inc. game here. This was developed by Artificial Mind and Movement and published by... Actually, I don't think this one has a specific publisher. It's definitely not Disney Interactive. They never really seemed to be a publisher. I don't know how that really worked. I think this is a great example of better graphics don't make a better game, honestly. Plus, there are some things that this version does that, you know, is worse. So, I wouldn't recommend that one. So, just stick with the PS1 version. Then we have Wacky Races Mad Motors. Jesus Christ, this is one of the worst games I've ever played. This was published by Blast and developed by those guys. I can't even tell. Coyote something. This was during... It's a funny story, I might as well explain this. Sony of Europe was not as protectful in terms of quality assurance with the PlayStation 2, and that was especially very obvious when the PS3 became the next big headliner. While Sony of America still had some level of quality assurance with the PlayStation 2, in America, Sony of Europe just said screw it. And Blast was one of the big people that took advantage of that. And this is actually interesting. This is a CD game, but it's a silver CD. And apparently these things run a lot worse than regular purple CDs. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever cover that. Then we have Barnyard, based on, obviously, the Barnyard movie and series. Series is better, in my opinion, but the movie is a guilty pleasure. This was developed by Blue Tongue Entertainment and published by THQ. I always like this game. This is a good version. The GameCube and PC versions are about the same, except they have stuff that this version doesn't have because it's locked from the cross saves. It's really stupid, but whatever. And yeah, this is not my ideal version though. We'll get to that one soon. Then we have Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, based on the movie. This came out about a year after the movie, which is kind of weird. I think it was meant to tie in, but it missed the deadline, I'm not sure. This version exclusively contains a making of the game documentary, starring Nick Cannon, of all people. I'm sure that's where all the budget went. They didn't even get Rob Paulson to voice Carl in this one. This was published by THQ and developed by, it doesn't say, but it was developed by Big Sky Interactive. It's a basic 2.5D platformer. I can't really say much there. And, oh, looky here. I just mentioned this a while ago. Here's Monsters, Inc. This was the one that we got instead of the PS2 version of Scream Team. This actually follows the movie, unlike Scream Team. It's not really that good, in my opinion. It doesn't say a developer, but I think Artificial Minded Movement also did this one, and it was published by Sony themselves. I don't know how true that is, but whatever. Then we have Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island. I've always loved the Nicktoons Unite games. I think this is actually my childhood copy, actually. So, yeah. This was published by THQ and developed by Blue Tongue Entertainment. So, there you go. Nice, nice. Then we have Nicktoons Movin'. This is the only iToy camera game I have. I know that Blast, the people who published this Wacky Races game, took real big advantage of the iToy. I think the iToy was like a thing from like the UK or something like that. It was mainly created in Europe, so like a lot of the people who bought it and a lot of the games were there. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, this is basic 13 games, and it's typical iToy stuff. It's not really special. So yeah. Then we have Nicktoons Unite for PS2. This one has cross-save stuff, unlike the GameCube version. It does have multi-tap support, so that's nice. Because PS2 doesn't have 4 controller slots right out of the gate. I forgot to say who developed this. This is going to be a problem. We're going to have, folks, I like to be consistent, published by THQ and developed by, it doesn't say, but it was developed by Mass Media, who developed some party games, which we'll get to. This was also THQ and Blue Tongue Entertainment, so not much to say there. This is definitely a strange one. Pets Dogs 2. What happened to 1? I don't know. The only reason why I have this is because I grew up with this, so that's my reason. This was developed by, I don't think it was Cryoware who did it, but it was published by Ubisoft. Despite what this may look like, this is not a pet simulator. This is actually an adventure game with dogs. I think there's a cat version of this game, which is exactly the same. But, I don't know, I kind of like this game. It's not great by any means. Actually, no, who am I kidding? It's not that good. Because it all has a bunch of fetch quests, and it's very linear. But, it's just a bizarre game, so, yeah. If you ever want an acid trip, then I guess play that, I'm not sure. Then we have Rocket Power Beach Bandits. I personally do not like Rocket Power as a show. I only picked up these games because collecting Nickelodeon games. Plus, I bought these before I even watched the show in full depth, I suppose. So I didn't really, it was by the same people who made Rugrats. That's why I thought, okay, I've been suckered in. This was developed by Evolution Games. I don't think they did anything else. And then published by THQ. I own all of these stinking games, and none of them are that great by any means. I mean, this one's fine, I suppose. Then we have, speaking of Rugrats, we have Rugrats Royal Ransom. This is one of the first games I ever played, actually, believe it or not. That makes me a very pathetic person, I know. Then it was developed by Avalanche Software, who would later go on to do Tak and the Power of Juju and Disney Infinity. There's a little fact for you. It's published by THQ, the usual. Yeah. Then we have Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. This one does not have multi-tap support, unlike the GameCube version that has 4-player support. That's kind of weird. I don't know why. It was developed by I don't know how to pronounce that, and it was published by Activision. They typically did the Shrek games back then, so there you go. Then we have Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is one of my favorite games, honestly. Probably easily the best SpongeBob game. This game has been getting some slack recently because of stuff. This game's just not as well talked about as it used to be, and it's really sad. This was developed by Heavy Iron Studios and published by THQ. In my opinion, this will always be one of the best licensed games of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Then we have SpongeBob, Creature from the Krusty Krab. I don't remember. This is my childhood copy? I'm not so sure. Some of these got all scuffed up and I had to rebuy them. You know how it goes. This was developed by Blitz Games and published by THQ. I like this game. I like Creature from the Krusty Krab. Then we have the infamous Run 1, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, SpongeBob, published by THQ. It doesn't say it, but it was developed by Big Sky Interactive. Yeah, this, I think if you know, you know, I suppose. Then we have SpongeBob's Atlantis SquarePants. This one was published by THQ and developed by Blitz Games again. This one's meh, honestly. The DS version's better. Sorry. Then we have Tak and the Power of Juju. I mentioned it before, so here we are. Here again, THQ, Avalanche Software. Nice, nice. Very, very good. Then we have The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Jet Fusion. I don't know how... I know there was a Jet Fusion special, but I don't think this is exactly close to that. So I think this is just doing its own thing. It was around the same time, I believe. I don't remember. This was developed by... I forgot the name of the developers. It was the same people who did Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, if that was his name. Yeah, believe it or not. And then it was published by THQ. So, yeah, there's that. That one's honestly. Then we have The Simpsons Skateboarding, which probably has the award for my least favorite video game of all time. I hate this freaking game. I've wasted so many hours of my life on this broken piece of crap. It's not because of the control. Okay, you know, there's some truth in that, but it's just because of the insane shit they expect you to do with those controls, and it's just, I don't know, I don't like this game. It is one of the games that I do not plan on covering from a gaming series ever. I'm never playing this game, and it was developed by the Code Monkeys again, and published by Fox Interactive. I hate this game. Then we have Toy Story 2 for PlayStation 2. Now, this is not the PS3 version that you're thinking of. This is actually a port of the PSP version. This came out like a year later. I'm kind of sad they didn't do that with more PSP games, honestly. It was developed by Asobo Studios and published by... was Disney? I guess this Disney Interactive was a publisher at one point? I'm not too sure how it worked. I like this one, honestly. It actually is more close to the movie than the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. Although I'd say that those are the better game, honestly. But I still like this one, honestly. Then we have Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure. This was... this is a childhood game, if it's not obvious. It just, for some reason, has never found its way out of my collection. It's kind of weird. It was published by Ubisoft and developed by Phoenix Studios, not to be confused with Phoenix Games, who do all those crappy PS2 story games. Yeah, that's certainly a trip. Then we have some Genesis games right here. I have them complete in box. We have Our Real Monsters. This one's fine. I think the Super Nintendo version might be better because it has more buttons to work with. This one you have to do like combinations to do like team moves and to switch characters. Whereas Super Nintendo you have separate buttons. I'm not sure actually. This one is meh. It was published by Viacom New Media and developed by, I don't think it says it here, but it was developed by Real Time Associates. So there you go. Now getting that back in here, we can move on to our next game, Garfield Caught in the Act. This is often regarded as one of the best Garfield games, or the only good Garfield game ever made. I really don't know. I think this was published by Sega. I don't know who developed it, but I'm not too crazy about this game. The art style is great in this game. I love the art style, but I wouldn't say it's a great game by any means, honestly. So it's definitely one of Garfield's better games, but it's still not great by any means. And I'm not, my opinion's not influenced by the AVGN video. I mean, I made a video of this video game a long time ago, and I got stuck on the first level because I wasn't very obvious on how to beat the boss. I later figured it out, but it certainly was not ideal. So, yeah. Then we have Ren and Stimpy's Invention. I think I've said this before, but despite what's going on in the cover here, it's not based on the episode. It's a completely original game. This is in my opinion, this is the only good Ren and Stimpy game. But even though that's not really saying much, this game's not really special by any means. But if I had to recommend any Ren and Stimpy game, I guess this would be the one published by Sega and I think developed by a company called Blue Sky Studios or something. Not like the Fox thing, obviously, not like Ice Age and Rio and all them. just different, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. Then we have Toy Story on Genesis. Easily the worst of the Toy Story games. I'd say that the Genesis version is the best out of all of the versions back then. Super Nintendo had the best graphics, but it was missing some levels. And Game Boy, well, we don't talk about that one. But, I mean, some Donkey Kong Country kind of stuff. It's meh, honestly. Toy Story on the Genesis is meh, honestly. The Toy Story game in general is meh. So there's nothing really to say there. Then we have some PSP games. Here we have SpongeBob, the Yellow Avenger. And this is published by THQ and developed by... I forgot what that company is. They were responsible for the recently released Switch port of Luigi's Mansion 2. So that's kind of interesting. I'd like to do this for the show, but the problem is I don't have the right PSP model to do capture with, so joy. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Then we have SpongeBob's Truth or Square. This is the PSP version. This actually has levels that aren't in the console version, which is interesting. This version was handled by Barking Lizards, which is an interesting name, and published by THQ. The usual. And then here we have the PSP port of Toy Story 3. As I said, this was what the PS2 version was a port of, so it's the same people, so there's not really much to say there. Moving down from that, we have Xbox games, so let's check these out. First up, we have Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. This was essentially the original Crash Bandicoot 4, before Crash 4 actually happened, and, yeah, I don't blame Activision for doing that, because this wasn't a good game. I haven't even beaten it yet, because I just don't want to. It was published by Universal Interactive during the time that Crash was still with Universal, and it was published by Traveler's Tales, who would later go on to do the Lego games. Or, like, the Lego games you would know best, obviously. Yeah, I don't have any plans on finishing that, unless I finally get around to doing it. Then we have Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. This was published by Activision and developed by Toys for Bob. And I think they became an independent studio like a few months ago or something, maybe a year ago. I don't remember how long. I think this actually uses the... where is it? Oh, yeah, it uses the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 engine. So, needless to say, this is definitely one of the better skateboarding games compared to Simpsons Skateboarding. So, yeah, this is actually a good game. I definitely would recommend it. The Xbox version actually has the ability to play custom soundtracks that you have on your Xbox. So, needless to say, crazy shit can happen if you do that. So, yeah, that's definitely a good game. Then we have Ed, Edd and Eddy the Misadventures. This was published by Midway and developed by... Okay, it doesn't say, but it was developed by Artificial Mind and Movement again. This one's fine. Not great by any means, but... I think it's good. I'll probably get to that at some point on my gaming series. Then we have the Family Guy game. Funny story with this one. My folks let me rent this around the time it came out in 2006. I was only 5 years old at the time. I had a great childhood. No, but point is this, I know, whatever. This was published by 2K and developed by High Voltage Software. They did other games like Lego Racers and Nicktoons MLB. This game is monotonous. Peter's levels are the worst, honestly. It was funny at first, but then it just gets so boring. I'm actually stuck on this game right now because I'm at a point where I just cannot progress, so I guess I'm done with this game. Do not buy this game. Then we have Lego Star Wars. Of course you gotta have Lego Star Wars. This was the first of the Lego games that established the TT games, or as what they later call it, they were still called Traveler's Tales here. This, the first game to establish that formula with, going through, destroying stuff, mini kits, blah, blah, blah. Yes, definitely good. This was published by, I can't even pronounce those. I think later times it would be published by LucasArts. But, yes, definitely Lego Star Wars was a great game. Then we have Loons, The Fight for Fame. This is a Looney Tunes fighting game that was only released on Xbox. It doesn't say only for some reason. Maybe they had other ports in the pipeline, but they never made it. This was developed by Warthog Games. This is not the last time they did something with Looney Tunes. And it was published by Infogrames. I do not like those people. In fact, Atari actually revived them recently. So... that's proof, people, that there is no God in this world. There is no God. This one's honestly. It was just, I didn't really click with this one. either I'll have to give it a second chance or I'll sell it. I'm not so sure. Then we have another one of my least favorite games of all time, Nickelodeon Party Blast. And oh look, it's Infogrames. That's nice. So yeah, I think this is probably why this game's actually the reason why I don't like them. I own every single version of this game just to see if there's a version that doesn't suck. They all have their own exclusive issues. This one is just an unpolished mess. It was developed by whatchamacallit, Data Design. It used the Renderware engine, which was the same engine that was used for Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's just baffling. Then we have Ratatouille. This Xbox version in particular is exclusive to GameStop and EB Games. That is not like a sticker on the front of the case. It's actually on the artwork, which is really annoying. This is the past-gen version of the game that was not advertised. It was primarily developed by Asobo Studios, but it did use some assets from Heavy Iron Studios, who developed the next-gen version of the game. This is the better game, in my opinion. It was published by THQ, who did both versions. And, yeah, we'll definitely have to get to that at some point. Then we have some Scooby-Doo games here. We have Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, which is one of the few Luigi's Mansion clones in the world. There are some, believe it or not. This was published by THQ and developed by Artificial Mind and Movement. This game can be tedious, but honestly, I think this game has its moments, so I personally have a soft spot for this game. Not great by any means. It's not a perfect game. But then we have Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, also by THQ and developed by Heavy Iron Studios. This is definitely regarded as like the best Scooby-Doo game. It's a 2.5D platformer. I actually really like this, actually. I mean, it's not a great game by any means, in my opinion. There's definitely a couple of parts that are a bit iffy, but it's still a good game, really good game. So, yeah, I like that, especially if you're a fan of the classic Scooby-Doo shows. Then we have Scooby-Doo Unmasked. It's kind of funny. Actually, most of these Scooby-Doo games were themed to the classic shows, and this was around the time that, like, What's New Scooby-Doo was going on, so it's weird that they never themed these games to that. This was also developed by Artificial Mind and Movement and published by THQ. It actually featured Adam West in the game, which is nothing compared to Night of 100 Frights. I don't think it said it, but this game features Tim Curry, Tim Conway, and Don Knotts. So, yeah, that has quite a cool cast. Then we have Shrek on Xbox. This is, I mean, it's a very nice looking game for the Xbox. This is one of the few games that they use to show off the Xbox's graphical capabilities. But it's not a great game by any means. I mean, Humpty Dumpty looks like he's got, like, a freaking, oh, it's his bow tie, that's screwing it up. Interestingly, this guy, the designs of some of these characters was by Todd McFarlane, who created Spawn. So that's interesting. It was published by TDK and developed by DICE, who I think made the Star Wars Battlefront games. I think that's what they were. I forgot if it was. I think I'm getting that screwed up with something else. They did another series that had battle in it. But, yeah, whatever. Then we have Shrek 2. This was by Activision and developed by Luxoflux. It was published by Activision. I think TDK was going to make a Shrek 2 game, but something happened, and Activision got their hands on the Shrek license, or the DreamWorks license. In today's society, that would be a bad thing, but trust me, this game was the shit. This game was the shit. This is a beat-em-up. I mean, it's a beat-em-up with Shrek. You cannot hate that. I mean, maybe you could. It's not the best beat-em-up in the world, but I think this game definitely has its good moments. Yes, this actually... Okay, no, I'll get to that when we do, actually. It's not a good time to actually explain it. But yeah, I like that one. That's actually a good one. One of the better movie tie-ins. Then we have Shrek Super Party. This one sucks. This was also by TDK Media Active. And it was developed by Mass Media. Again, I said they did party games. This is a very bad party game. Really bad. I'm not getting into detail because that one is just not good. Then we have Shrek Super Slam. Shrek fighting game. This was published by Activision. And I think it was developed by... I can't pronounce that. I think they hated working on this game. I'm not so sure. This game was fine. This one was actually a lot of fun. The story mode was freaking hilarious. Gingy freaking MTB Cribs. That was hilarious. Then we have Spider-Man 2. I will shamefully admit I've never seen any of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. But this game, I got this as a birthday gift for PS2 back in the day. And I just played this thing nonstop. This is just a blast to mess around in, honestly. It was developed by... I can't pronounce that. Treyarch, I think, and published by Activision. Yes, definitely, like, one of the best Spider-Man games. I'm sure there's better ones, but, you know. Then we have the Xbox version of Battle for Bikini Bottom. That just fell. Again, I don't even have to go through the developer or publishers. I bought this game on every console because I just love this game. This is the best version, in my opinion, but either version you buy, you're not really going wrong, honestly. So, let me just fix that very quickly. Perfect. Let's just do that so it's all stood up. Next up we have SpongeBob Lights, Camera, Pants. This was published by THQ and developed by THQ Studio Australia. This is a SpongeBob party game. Each version has like a different storyline. I mean, the console versions all have the same one, but like Game Boy and PC have different ones. We'll get there when we do. I always like this one. This is a great one. The unlocking system is a bit crude, but I'd say that this game is still a good game. So, yes. Then we have Tak and the Power of Juju 2, The Staff of Dreams. Tak 1 was not on Xbox. I have no idea why, but this one made the jump. Avalanche Software is back making this one, so that's nice. This one's a lot more straightforward than Tak 1, so take what you will of that. Then we have here Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was based on the 2003 series. I think this came out around the same time, actually. Yeah, how do you like that? This was developed by, I don't think it says, but it was published by Konami, who actually made a lot of the old Ninja Turtle games from like the 90s and the 80s. So that was kind of cool, kind of funny. But this one's kind of tedious. It's another beat 'em up, but I wouldn't say it's like the old Turtle beat 'em ups. Nowhere around that. Same with this one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Battle Nexus. I think I said that wrong. I grew up with this one, actually, because my sister was hooked on the 2003 Turtles. Again, Konami, I don't know if they're going to show the developer. It does not, and I don't remember it. So, there you go. This one actually has the Ninja Turtles arcade game from 1989, although the audio is drastically different to the point where it's not that good. Plus, you have to beat the entire game to get this, so that's not really a good selling point, if you ask me. Then we have the Cat in the Hat game. This was based on the 2003 live-action Cat in the Hat movie, which featured Mike Myers. I know that movie has a cult following. I'm not crazy about it, but I do like this game, honestly. It's not great, but, you know, it was published by Vivendi Universal and developed by Magenta Software. So, yeah, we'll probably cover that at some point. Not sure when, though, but, yeah. These fell over again. That's nice. That's always nice to see. Then we have right here the Fairly Odd Parents Breaking the Rules. This was published by THQ and developed by Blitz Games. It's hard to see because for some reason that's orange. No idea why. This one's basic. I think I beat this game 100% on like the first day I got it. So, yeah, not too crazy about that one. Then we have the Incredibles game. This one has online Xbox Live stuff, although it's just DLC. It's published by THQ and developed by Heavy Iron Studios. The DLC in this one is a Horde mode, which you can get in any other version of the game by beating the main campaign. So, that's stupid. I have never beaten this game. I've had this game for a long time. I grew up with it on PS2. I have never beaten it. So, one of these days I gotta get around to doing that. Then we have The Simpsons Hit and Run. Another game that's widely regarded as one of the best licensed games ever made. More so than Battle for Bikini Bottom, since this doesn't have a remake, or we'll get there when we do. Kind of wish it did, though. Yeah, this is a great game. It was published by Vivendi Universal and developed by Radical Entertainment. This is redeemed as the magma opus, or whatever you call it, of the Simpsons games. One of the only good ones, if you ask me. But, yeah, definitely. Great game. Then we have The Simpsons Road Rage. This one is not as loved as Hit and Run, probably because it's kind of monotonous, but I still like it. It was published by EA, yuck, and developed by Radical Entertainment, who also did Hit and Run. It's a Crazy Taxi clone. Sega actually sued them. This was back when Sega was a fierce competitor in the whatchamacallit, but they were kind of losing in terms of their consoles, so yeah. I don't know, I like this game a lot. I have heavy nostalgia for it, so there you go. I'll get these last few games out because we're kind of making a mess here. Here's the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, or the movie game as a lot of people call it. This is published by THQ and developed by Heavy Iron Studios. Sorry, wrong stuff. This is another great SpongeBob game. It's much more linear. It's harder. So it's kind of like a sequel. It's not really, obviously. But, yeah, I personally like this one. A lot of people, there's a mixed thing. Some people think it's bad. Some people think it's better than Battle for Bikini Bottom. I think it's great, but I don't think it's as good as Battle for Bikini Bottom. So that's just me. And then finally for Xbox, we have Wallace and Gromit in Project Zoo. I'm surprised it's made it over here, actually, because, Wallace and Gromit are more well-known in the UK. Aardman was actually involved with this, apparently. It was published by BAM Entertainment and developed by, there's a company right there, Frontier, I believe. This game features Feathers McGraw from the Wrong Trousers short. Kind of ironic considering there's that new Wallace and Gromit movie coming out with the return of Feathers McGraw. So this is, in a sense, your semi-sequel. I don't know. This is kind of like that Cars game, I suppose, where like it kind of served as a sequel, but now it's kind of getting erased. I don't even know. Then again, I think there was a better example, but I just don't remember. Whatever. Moving on. Moving on down here, we have this tiny shelf, which is also one of the custom shelves, and it has some of my loose cartridges and some of my basically cartridge games in a sense, because they're small enough to fit here. So let me see if I can try and pull this out because it's actually in one of those cases. We have Double Dare. This is one of the first Nickelodeon games. Not the first. The Commodore 64 version was first, since that one came out in like 1989. This one came out, I believe, 1990, I believe. Yes, I think it says it right there, 1990. Yes. I mean, compared to the game show, this is not that good. This was published by Game Tech and developed by Rare. Yeah, the Rare, by the way. I don't know why I call that. It's not like they're great like their Nintendo days anymore. But yeah, just a fact. This game is bad. I was gonna cover this, but it did not end so well. So one of these days, I gotta try and do a round of this game that isn't gonna suck. So yeah, no telling when or if such a thing will ever happen, but we'll just have to wait and see in due time. Then we have the Titan Super Mario Brothers. I mean, I gotta own this one physically, honestly. This was the one that kind of saved the gaming industry in a sense. Not really. I mean, but, why else would Nintendo honor this as Mario's whatchamacallit? I don't know. Point is, kids, listen up. You have this game to thank, because if it wasn't for this game, you probably wouldn't have your Minecrafts, your Fortnites, your Roblox. I sound really cringe right now, I know, so we're just gonna move on. But yeah, that was obviously Nintendo. Not much to really say, because Nintendo typically publishes and develops these games. Super Mario Bros. 2. This was released in Japan as Doki Doki Panic at first, but because the Mario 2 of Japan, which we know as the Lost Levels, was too hard, we got this instead. They pretty much changed Doki Doki Panic, slapped Mario on there, and there you go. This ended up doing way better than they could have ever imagined. Doki Doki Panic ended up dying as a franchise. They stopped selling it at some point, I think, and then they started selling this one in Japan. So, way to go. And then, like, some of the enemies in this became Mario characters, so, yeah. I think this is what cemented Mario as a star. Some people don't really... This game, people don't really pay attention to this game because of that, but whatever. Whatever. I like this game. This is probably one of my favorite 2D Marios. Then we have Super Mario Bros. 3, the one that a lot of people love. Yeah, this was great. Also Nintendo, as always, because who else would it be? This was released in 1990. Japan got it in 1988 because they always got everything before us, because Mario is a Japanese franchise, obviously. But yeah, definitely a great game. Fantastic game. Then we have some loose Super Nintendo games here. Here we have Mario Paint, which required the SNES mouse. Honestly, love this game. I've always wanted to figure out a way to make this work for cartoon gameplay, but I've never really figured it out. Maybe a live stream or something. I'm not sure. That would probably be too hectic, honestly. But, yeah, definitely love Mario Paint. Next up, we have Super Mario Kart. Sorry about that pause. The camera froze up for some reason. Okay, I know this game is very beloved, but, and I know it kind of defined the kart racing genre, kind of started it, but I don't know, I hate this game, honestly. This is another game that I refuse to do for the series, because it's just, oh boy, like, it's not only outdated, but there's just some things that they did in this game that I just question, like, what were they thinking? So, yeah, I'm not getting into full detail here, because I feel like if I did, then people would hate me. Then we have Super Mario World. The Super Mario World, obviously. This is probably one of my favorite 2D Mario games. So, yes, definitely a fantastic game. Any Mario fan should play this. It introduced the Yoshi. So, there you go. Then we have some loose Nintendo 64 games. Here we have Banjo-Kazooie, one of the greatest collectathon games ever made. If only Rare wasn't so stingy about bringing them back. It's sad world we live in, folks. Sad world. Not even Microsoft can do anything. Then we have Conker's Bad Fur Day. Okay, if it ain't obvious, I'll shamefully admit that this is a reproduction. Yeah, I know, but considering how much the authentic cartridges of this game go for, I had no choice, really. Maybe one day I'll try to grab those if I'm insane enough. Or if I'm wealthy enough. Probably never. But honestly, I love Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's not like a great game by any means, but like the humor and the references and stuff, like that definitely keeps the game. Like, it entices you all the way through, pretty much. So, yeah, I definitely love Conker's Bad Fur Day. Donkey Kong 64. I've owned this game for a long time, but I've never gotten around to beating it. I don't know if I'll ever do that. This was developed by Rare. So was the others, I guess. Developed by Rare when they were owned by Nintendo. You can tell because that was them when they were labeling themselves Rareware. I can't talk. But yeah, it was definitely. I think that was their golden age, if you ask me. Or golden eye, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is a good one. Haven't gotten around to beating it, but whatever. Then we have Mario Kart 64. This fixed a lot of my problems with Super Mario Kart. It's still, is rather early. Definitely feels like it, but it's a way better game. And a lot of things that rubbed me the wrong way about Super Mario Kart are not present here. So this is, in my opinion, the first great Mario Kart game, in my opinion. Can't stress that enough. Yeah, obviously Nintendo. You know how that goes. Then we have Mario Party. This is Mario Party 1. This is great. I like this one. This is by Nintendo, as always. Not much to say there. Then we have Mario Party 3. I will shamefully admit that this is also a reproduction, although unlike Conker, where I was very well aware that it was a reproduction, this I bought by complete accident. In fact, I think actually, yeah, that doesn't look normal if you can see that right there. Yeah, that was an accident, but you know what? This works. I don't care. So, whatever. And it runs perfectly fine. Conker's is a really laggy mess, but I don't know. I've heard that even authentic cartridges are not that great. If you can confirm, let me know, and then maybe I won't even buy an authentic one. Then we have Mickey Speedway USA. This one's fine. The dialogue's a bit overabundant, if you ask me. This was published by Nintendo and developed by Rareware, so that's kind of interesting. But Nintendo did develop Disney Game & Watch games back in the day, so... Yeah, a little fact for you folks, Nintendo did develop licensed games at one point. They will most certainly never say that again, but whatever. Give me Popeye, goddammit. This is Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers, published by THQ, and it was developed by, I believe, Terraglyph was the name of the company. I'm not so sure. This game was meant to be on PS1, but that version got canceled. I feel like it would have been better. Probably would have had, like, FMVs and more dialogue. But, whatever. The only way we'll find that out is if a ROM or ISO ever leaks or whatever. This one's not that good. The camera... Can I even call it a camera? I don't know. This one's not that good. Don't even bother playing that one. Then we have Super Mario 64, The Legend. Yeah, I mean, it's outdated, but I mean, I still think it's a great game. But yeah, needless to say, Super Mario 64 is a classic. Obviously, Nintendo. And again, this is another game that every Mario fan should play at least once. So, yeah. Then we have Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. This was developed by Traveler's Tales and published by Activision. This version is terrible. Do not play the Nintendo 64 version. We'll get to the good version later on. And then we have right here some of my complete in-box games. This first one actually didn't cost me that much, surprisingly. This is Mario and Wario, another SNES mouse game. This game did not get released outside of the US. I think it came close, I'm not so sure. This game did not sell well at all in Japan. So, to favor that, I guess, so it didn't really work. I thought this game is okay. It's a basic puzzle game. I got this thing complete in box for like 25 bucks. That's a steal. I don't know, it seems like the Japanese versions of these games don't sell as much as the whatever. I don't know how it works. But yeah. I don't have a Super Famicom, but I do have a... I cut off the, what are they called? The region free tabs or something? The region lock tabs. So, my Super Nintendo is modified, needless to say. But, you know, that was tempting at the very least. I've always been curious about that game. Then we have Rocko's Modern Life, Spunky's Dangerous Day. This is like a puzzle platformer escort game. I don't know if you can combine those, but okay. This was published by Viacom New Media, and I don't know who developed it. So, there you go. That was definitely one of the more pricier ones. Then we have Ren and Stimpy Vidiots. This is terrible. Don't buy this one. Published by THQ during the time that they were called THQ Software, because they were largely a toy company back then. Yeah, this is not a great game, honestly. I don't like this one. I don't know who developed it, and I do not care. Do not buy this one. I'd argue that the Game Boy version is better, and that has like 2 frames per second. Then we have Rugrats in Paris for Nintendo 64. This one's fine. Tommy doesn't have any dialogue in here, although he does have it in the PS1 version. But this one's fine. It does require the N64 controller pack to save the game. Same with Scooby-Doo. Again, that probably had a PS1 port, but that was canceled. This one had a PS1 port as well. So I think most of the N64 games that required controller packs were meant to, like, you know, make PlayStation users not feel bad. Or, I don't know how it worked, whatever. Maybe it was just programming and something. I don't know. It was all screwy. Then we have Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. This was full price, believe it or not, back in the day. Yeah, oh, by the way, I forgot. This was published by THQ and developed by, it doesn't say, but Avalanche Software, who also did TAC and all them. So there you go. So that was their first Rugrats game. And then this one was published by THQ and developed by Real Time Associates, who did the All Real Monsters game. This is a board game. A very low one at that. This one actually has a lot of dialogue. I feel like that's why the game is so bare bones. It wasn't a bigger cartridge like Conker, so there wasn't really a lot of room to make things work. Again, that's why a lot of the N64 ports of like games that were on PlayStation are crappy, I suppose. Space became an issue. Not to say the Nintendo 64 is a bad console. It had a lot of great exclusive games. Moving down from that, we have GameCube games. GameCube is one of my favorite Nintendo consoles of all time. So here we go. Here we have Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. This one is a point-and-click game on GameCube. What? That's a little confusing. It was published by Nintendo and developed by Capcom. I think Shigeru Miyamoto actually was like the director of this game, actually. Which I guess makes sense because there were some Game & Watch Mickey Mouse games back then. As a result, Mickey barely talks in this game. That's a very yiko. This game does have Game Boy Advance connectivity with another game. I think it was a port of an SNES game. Although, all it does is that it handicaps the game, so it's not worth it. But this is, meh. It's just weird that there's a point-and-click game on GameCube. It just doesn't really work, if you ask me. But, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever played. Then we have Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. This is the GameCube version. I picked it up just because I saw it cheap, so I was just like, why not have it for the sake of my collection? I have a Nickelodeon video game collection. Yes, I'm pathetic. This does not have the Nick Cannon stuff. So, and it does have some graphical downgrades, but, what can you do? Not much to say there. Again, the same people. Then we have Looney Tunes back in action, based on the movie. Yeah, this is good, actually. I like this one. This was published by EA, and it was developed by Warthog Games, who also did Loons. It's not on the back, but you can take my word for it. So, yeah. I'm close to beating this one. This one's been in my backlog for a while. I have a friend who actually really likes this game, so, yeah. Then we have Luigi's Mansion, one of my favorite GameCube games. Yes, definitely one of the more spookier Nintendo games ever made. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. I really wish this was on Switch, considering we have the other two on Switch. Why couldn't this one be on Switch? Maybe someday, maybe never. Considering that Switch games are going to be backwards compatible on the next Nintendo console, maybe it'll show up there. I'm not sure. It just needs to happen. That's all I'm saying. If they ported the 3DS version, I wouldn't care. Whatever. But yeah, let me think here. Yes, obviously Nintendo. Nothing much else to say there. Then we have Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. I'm not too big on Mario Golf, but I picked this up because I saw it cheap. First-party Nintendo games, or basically like any of the first-party IPs or whatever, they usually go for a lot of money nowadays. I have no idea why. Yeah, I decided to pick this up because I only saw it for like $30, so like, you know, I think that's as cheap as you're gonna get. But it's fine. It's golf. What more can I say? So, yeah, this was also developed by Camelot, obviously. Then we have Mario Kart Double Dash, my absolute favorite Mario Kart, and it's also my first Mario game, believe it or not.
Oh, I love this game. I love it so much. Developed by Nintendo, obviously. And it also, I have the bonus disc, believe it or not. I got this back when GameCube games were about the same price as their retail price. Now it's about $100. Maybe with the bonus disc, it's even more. So I'm one of the lucky ones. So thank God for that. Then we have Mario Party 4. This is my sister's favorite Mario Party. We actually rented this from Blockbuster a couple of times. Oh, I forgot to say, this was these Mario Party games were developed by Hudson Soft. I forgot to say that with 1 and 2 up there. I'm an idiot, yiko. But yeah, I like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. Mario Party 7, I also like this one a lot. It's not the best one, but I definitely do like it. My sister actually bought this from a retro video game store, thinking it was the one that we rented from Blockbuster. Wow, is she way off. I want to get Mario Party 5 at some point. I'm thinking about 6, if I can even afford them. There's always that. Yeah, again, Nintendo, Hudson Soft, the huge. Then we have Mario Power Tennis. I like Mario Tennis. I'm not, like, big on it, but, like, the first 2 I really liked. In terms of console, I mean. Yes, this one had a lot of cool stuff. The special shots and the courses were really cool. I like this one. Again, published by, I mean, it was Nintendo in general, but then it was also developed by Camelot. So, yeah, very nice. Camelot, of course, were the people who created Waluigi, in case you didn't know. Then we have Monsters, Inc. Scream Arena. This is Dodgeball. That's the first thing I think about when I think of Monsters Incorporated, published by THQ and developed by Radical Entertainment, which is a surprise. I think this is the reason why we didn't get a Simpsons game from them in 2002, and why we got frickin' skateboarding instead. They actually got John Goodman to be in this game, which is weird. I suppose that's where all the budget went. So, yeah, not that good, honestly. Then we have Muppets Party Cruise. It's another party game, if you couldn't tell by that name. Who decided to stick the Muppets on a cruise ship? I have no idea. It was published by TDK and developed by Mass Media, who also did Shrek Super Party. However, this game is still not a great party game by any means, but it is better than Shrek Super Party. It fixed some of my issues with that game, although I wouldn't say that this is still a great one. It's decent, in my opinion. It's decent. I have a friend who really loves this game, though, so not much to say there. Speaking of party, we have Nickelodeon Party Blast. This is probably the best version in terms of presentation. I mean, that's not really saying much because this game is still bad regardless. The load times in this version is what kills it. So that's the deal breaker for this one, folks. Again, each version has a deal breaker of some sort. So, yuck, yuck, yucky, yuck, yuck. Sorry, you had an itch. Then we had Avalanche. We have Nicktoons Unite for GameCube. I mean, I went through that again, so there's not really much to say there. Then we have, let me just fix some of these at the very least. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. I have a little problem right there. Yes, this is honestly my favorite of the Paper Marios, honestly. I did not have the remake. I need to get on that soon. But yes, this was a great one. I think I rented this from Blockbuster once, and I had no idea how RPGs worked back then. So needless to say, yeah, that was a bad choice for the weekend. So, oopsie gravy is all I can say. Who is your favorite part? Okay, no, I shouldn't have said that. Now there's just going to be nothing but Vivian in the comments. Or I'm a Coops person. People do disgusting stuff with Vivian. Here we have Piglet's Big Movie. What a topic changer. Why is Pooh so tiny here? Tigger's a giant. I don't like that. This is about the same as the whatchamacallit. Oh, by the way, Intelligent Systems. You should have known that. Same as the Rumbly Tumbly Adventures game, despite the fact that it's different developers and a different publisher, Gotham Games, and Denki, that's an interesting name. I think that's how you say it. Same game, except it's longer, it's more fleshed out, and it's harder. If you could believe that. Hardcore Winnie the Pooh. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. That's not even close to what it's trying to be. Then we have Pikmin. I like Pikmin a lot. The first Pikmin is definitely like a very strategic, time-based game. You really got to know what you're doing to really get good. I think my first attempt, I've had this game for a long time. Not a long time, actually. I recently re-obtained it. But it was one of the first games I got with my GameCube. I didn't know how it worked. So needless to say, I failed miserably. I think my first true attempt at this game, I finished the game on like day 27. But then I replayed it. And I beat it on day 15. So yeah, I'll definitely be covering this at some point. Not sure when though, but someday. And that was obviously Nintendo, as to be expected. Then we have Pikmin 2. This one is pretty much the same stuff. There's some improvements to the gameplay. They introduced Louie. and the purple and white Pikmin. Purple's the best. I don't care what you say. And then there's it's fine though. It's longer. It's there's no day limit, which is nice. And then it's a lot harder. Did I already say it's a lot harder? I think some of the caves in this game introduced caves, and they're somewhat randomized, which is good or bad, depending on which way you put it. I don't know if I'll ever beat this one, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. I'll say that. Then we have, let me just fix these stinking games, because this seems to be a problem we always have here. Yike. Then we have Rocket Power Beach Bandits on GameCube. Not much to say there, considering I already covered this with the PS2 version. Rugrats Royal Ransom. This one actually is a bit better than the PS2 version, graphically. So, that's worth noting if you ever want to play that game. I'm not recommending it, but, you know. Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'd say this is the worst version, but it's still great, honestly. It's still, you know, it still hits all the right marks. So this is still a passable version, if you ask me, of Battle for Bikini Bottom. Then Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. This doesn't have some of the stuff that people know the PS2 game for, which is good. Some of the graphics are downgraded, but other than that, I'd say that it doesn't matter since this version is more expensive. I bought this when it was like $12, and now it's like, what, 30 or 40? I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. Then we have Super Mario Sunshine, one of the most notorious Mario games. I think it's okay. I mean, it's not great. There's some parts in it that were really terrible, but it's Mario with the polish of a licensed video game. That's great. It's like if the Code Monkeys developed Mario. Okay, no, I'm kidding. That's just an insult. Yeah, but it was Nintendo. It was their main team, so that's kind of weird. Maybe they were, I don't know. Maybe the heat waves were getting to them. But yeah, this game has its moments, though. There's still a charm to this one that I like. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. Don't. Then we have Super Smash Bros. Melee, one of the most fast-paced Smash Bros. Games. And I like it. I like it a lot. It had the best trophies in it, honestly, because they were just so bizarre. Like, really bizarre. But yeah, I like Smash Bros. Melee. I'm actually play this, a little later. The adventure mode in this was a lot of fun. I love that. So, yeah. Then we have, and Nintendo, obviously. Then we have The Adventures of Jim Neutron Boy Genius, The Attack of the Twonkies. I love the TV special, by the way. I love the TV special. I think I grew up with the PS2 version. I don't own that anymore. But I like this game. This is another Luigi's Mansion clone, if you can believe it. In my opinion, this is the best Jimmy Neutron game. It was published by THQ and developed by THQ Studio Australia. So, yeah, I think this is a good one. It doesn't follow the special one-for-one, but I feel like that was done to make it work with a video game. I'm not sure it was whatever. I don't know how this stuff works. Then we have Fairly Odd Parents Shadow Showdown. This one's actually, I think this was, developed by the same people, Blitz Games, published by THQ. This does have a lot of improvements. It has better dialogue quality because Breaking the Rules had some compression for the ages. This one's fine. I may cover this one at some point. Not sure when, though, but it's definitely on the table. But, again, only time will tell when it will exactly happen. And then we have this piece of crap. This is Universal Studios Theme Parks Adventure. Oh, wait, no, it says Universal Studio Theme Park Adventure. Okay, make up your mind, people. This was made to promote the opening of Universal Studios Japan. Why we got it here in the US, I have no idea. There was a PS2 game by different people that we didn't get, which I guess makes sense to me. Might have to check that one out at some point, not sure when. This isn't good, though. This isn't good. It's a bunch of mini games that are crap. It was published by Kimco and developed by... It doesn't say. So, yeah, I don't recommend this one. Enough said. End of discussion. Okay, moving down here, we have this shelf. Another one of the custom shelves. I tried, goddammit. Okay, here's some Dreamcast games. I do not have a lot of these. These are more expensive than first-party GameCube games. It's really sad. But let's start out here. Here we have Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. I was curious about this game because I heard some stuff about it. I think the back is sun-faded. I didn't even have this back art, but I recently obtained it on eBay, so that's nice. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, so that works. I don't like this game, though. This is actually one of the games why I bought the Dreamcast. I kid you not, I'm pathetic. And then after that, I found out that there was a PS2 version, and it was considerably cheaper. And now I'm very upset with myself, so... Oh, well, I mean, I need Dreamcast games, so I'm not gonna let go of it, I suppose, even though I probably should. Here we have Looney Tunes Space Race, yet another game that was also on PS2 with more content, so I screwed up again. Wait, actually, who did this one, actually? I completely forgot about that. I think it was published by Sega and then developed by them. I'm not even gonna try and say their name, I'm sorry. But yeah, Looney Tunes Space Race. This one's controls are a little weird, considering you have to push up on the joystick to accelerate. I'm not crazy about it. I think the PS2 version spoofs something. I don't exactly remember in terms of its cover art. It was published by Infogrames. You know how I feel about them. And it was developed by... I don't think... Are they... No, that can't be the developer. No, that can't be. I think it was one of Infogrames' in-house studios, honestly. They did that on Dreamcast. Yeah, not much to say about this one. Maybe one day I'll cover that, but I'm not so sure. Doesn't seem too likely. Then we have Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue on Sega Dreamcast. Better than the Nintendo 64 version. Way better. Published by the same people. Developed by the same people. But, I don't know. In my opinion, this isn't the best version. They completely screwed up the analog control in this version. It only inputs the diagonal movement, which is just dumb. And then they tried, like, adding stuff to make it seem more, you know, up to snuff with, like, the next generation. But, honestly, it looks like crap, in my opinion. This is still a playable version if you're alright using the D-pad. And it does have better audio quality for the movie clips. But, yeah, can't exactly say that this is a good... no, I can't exactly say it's not my preferred version of the game. We'll get to that soon. Don't you worry. Then we have Wacky Races on Dreamcast. Much like the first two Dreamcast games I talked about, this one also has a PS2 version, although it never released in the US. So I guess I had no choice but to buy this version. Then again, I have the region for... I didn't think that one through now, did I? Jesus Christ. This was published by Infogrames and developed by, I think, one of their other in-house studios. This game is brutal. This is like one of the hardest kart racers I've ever played. And the controls are like crap. So, yeah, I don't like this one. I don't know if I'll ever cover that one, actually. I will shamefully admit I downloaded a save file for that one because I just wanted to play the damn game on my own whatever. I am ashamed to guess. DS games, back at the Barnyard, Slop Bucket Games. This is actually kind of a downgraded, very shortened port of the console Barnyard game. Just, it has a very similar vibe to it. Like that Whack-A-Rat game you see there is actually from the console game. I mean, not one for one like that, but you know what I mean. This is fine, though. I mean, it's not great, but I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know who developed it. No, those people developed it. Firemint. Interesting name. And it was published by Play THQ. Just basically THQ, I'm going to say. It's not much to say there. Then we have Mario Kart DS by Nintendo. This is definitely one of my favorite Mario Kart games. I think I got this thing at Kmart. Who remembers Kmart? The good days. But yeah, I liked Mario Kart DS, honestly. That's like one of my favorite ones, one that I spent a lot of hours on. Especially when they ported that over to the Wii U in terms of Virtual Console. But we'll get to that when we do. But yes, Mario Kart DS. It is a great game, in my opinion. Then we have Drawn to Life SpongeBob Edition. Never played the original Drawn to Life, but I did play this one because they brought back the boy Doodle Bob. It was by THQ and developed by Altron. I like this one a lot. This one was actually a lot of fun. Not great, but it was still fun, in my opinion. Then we have the DS version of Nicktoons Unite. This was published by THQ and developed by, it doesn't say it, but it was developed by Climax. This was not a beat-em-up game like the console games. This was actually a 3D platformer, which is interesting. You don't really see those that much on the DS. So, yeah, it's not pretty by any means. It's rather ugly, but I still think it was fine for what it was. Not much else to say there. Next up is Creature from the Krusty Krab on DS. This one was terrible. I do not like this one. It exclusively uses the stylus to control everything, even walking. And I think Nintendo tried that kind of thing as well. Maybe like, was that the case of Yoshi's Touch and Go? I never played that one, so I wouldn't know. It was developed by Way Forward, who created whatever her name was. I forgot her name. Sorry. And then it was published by THQ. So, yeah, not much to say there. Don't play that one. Then we have SpongeBob versus the big one, Beach Party Cook-Off. This is a cooking game, like Cooking Mama or something. I mean, that's not one-for-one comparison, but, I mean, it's the closest thing I can compare it to. It's fine. Not great by any means, but it's okay. It was developed by Fizz Factor, interesting name, and published by THQ, so, yeah, I personally liked it. It's not great, but oh well. Then we have my favorite SpongeBob DS game, SpongeBob's Atlanta SquarePants. This is one of the first DS games I actually got, believe it or not. Yeah, I personally liked this game. I would love to do this for the gaming series, but I cannot do DS capture, which is sad. This is a 2.5D platformer with some mini games thrown in, rather than whatever the heck the console game was. But yeah, also THQ. It was also by Altron. So yeah, definitely another one of my favorites. Both of them also did the DS version of Truth or Square, which is more or less the same thing, a 2.5D platformer. And it's okay. Not great. I'd say it doesn't come close to Atlanta SquarePants, but, you know, it is what it is. I still liked this game. So, it's in my backlog right now, so I gotta try and get on that. Then I have some 3DS games. I used to have more than this, but I sold them. Or I just have them digital or whatever. Here's Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Originally I had the Nintendo Select version. I mean, I technically still do because it's the cartridge, but I recently obtained the original game, the original case from eBay. So, yeah, it looks a lot nicer. I don't know, I'm not too crazy about those, like, re-release or bestseller kind of things. They just kind of look ugly. You have to compromise that to pay less. I don't know. I like that one. Nintendo, I think it was Next Level Games. So, yeah, there you go. Then we have Mario Kart 7. This was the first game I got with my 3DS. I have a rough history with this game. I've gone through it with like other videos, like my Mario Kart tier list video, the one where I do that weird Kermit voice. So yeah, don't ask why I do that. I actually never really figured out why I did that. It doesn't say it, but I think this was developed by Retro Studios. It's one of the few Mario Kart games that was not developed fully in-house. But I mean, it's still Mario Kart. It's still like a nice controlling Mario Kart, but there was a lot of things that this version did that others didn't. Like, it didn't even have single-player versus, which DS had. We truly went backwards here, but, I mean, it's fine. But there's a lot of choices here that I don't like. I don't know if it was Retro Studios' decision, but, oh yeah, for some reason this particular game makes that noise. I have no idea why. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. Yeah, this shelf is not that great. It's Home Depot. We have SpongeBob Hero Pants for 3DS. This is terrible. I hate this game. This is different from the console game because it, like, the levels are all, like it has 3 load screens for each level. It's not fun. I don't know if I even described that right. Whatever. It was published by Activision and developed by Behavior Interactive. Right there. I thought that was someone else for a second. I don't like this game. I don't like it. No. I thought the Xbox 360 version was bad. This one is worse. Yuck. I only have this because it was a part of the same listing as this game, SpongeBob SquarePants 3D. We'll get to the Wii version soon because I love that one. Honestly, this is my opinion the most underrated SpongeBob game. 3DS version is a little choppy in terms of its frame rate. So, yeah. If you ever wanted to hear Tom Kenny say Nintendo 3DS, though, this is your game. The 3D is not really that good, though, in my opinion, on this game. And the menus don't even support it, so, yeah, it's kind of dumb. It was published by THQ and developed by WayForward again. So, there you go. Yeah, this is like a WarioWare clone, but it's art-based. I love that, honestly. I don't care what anyone says. I think this is an underrated SpongeBob game. Then we have Super Mario 3D Land. This is one of my most favorite 3DS games, honestly. I want to see this on Switch. You gave me Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Give me Super Mario 3D Land on Switch or the next Nintendo console, please. I would pay a lot of money to have a nice console version of this, and I might even do a Let's Play for it. At least the main campaign. Not sure about the special worlds, but, you know, it's what it is. But yeah, I love this game. This is honestly one of my favorites, honestly. So, yeah. Hopefully one day, if it ever gets ported, we'll cover that. Then we have some PlayStation games. PlayStation is another one of my all-time favorite consoles. So let's get right on that. First up we have, wow, this is a very odd start. Blue's Big Musical Game. This is based on the straight-to-DVD movie, or it's based off of the straight-to-DVD movie, Blue's Big Musical movie. It's a fine movie. I mean, it's straight-to-DVD things go. It's one of the only early childhood games I own, which is sad. This was published by THQ and developed by Terraglyph, who also did Scooby-Doo, Classic Creep Capers. I think the game data actually, or the copyright screen or the opening credits say that Mattel published it, which is not, I don't know who published this game then. It's basic. I mean, it's an early childhood game, so what would you expect? I only have this because it was one of the, there's only like 10 Nickelodeon games on PlayStation, so that's why I decided to pick that up. Then we have Crash Bandicoot. Of course we gotta have Crash Bandicoot. I'd say the original game is a little, flimsy, honestly. It's not a great, I mean, it's still, you know, it definitely paved the way for Crash, but I think the other games did it better. The remake is a lot better, in my opinion. Again, it was published by Universal Interactive, and it was developed by Naughty Dog, so that's nice. Yeah, but Crash Bandicoot's still a good game, in my opinion. I just wouldn't, if you were getting into Crash Bandicoot, I wouldn't recommend getting the original. Then we have Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. This is my favorite Crash game right here. This is one of my favorite one, actually. Unlike Crash 1, this one had much refined controls. So yeah, I really like this one a lot more. Same people, obviously. Yeah, I love this game, honestly. This is actually a great, what should we call it? Great, one of my favorite PlayStation games, honestly. Then we have Crash Bandicoot Warped, which was in a sense Crash 3. Again, same people. This is often regarded as like the best of the original Crash trilogy, but, or I guess saga, if you count, Crash 4 now. Whatever way you put it. I think it's fine. I think it's great. I personally like Crash 2 more. I don't know why. There's something about it, but this game is still a great game by all means, honestly. So, yeah, definitely. I definitely recommend getting the Insane trilogy, because that's a great collection. Dora the Explorer Barnyard Buddies. Okay, the same reason as the Blue's Clues game. It was one of the last Nickelodeon games that was on PlayStation that I didn't have. This came out in 2003, around the same time as Battle for Bikini Bottom. Think about that. It was published by Global Star, who was doing some Dora games at the time, and it was developed by Imagine Engine, who did some other Nickelodeon PC games. So there you go. This game is a 2.5D thing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not even a great way to describe it. Then we have Goofy's Funhouse. This game has frame rate it has like rotten cheese for frame rates and some nice thingies there, scratches, yiko. This was developed by the Code Monkeys and published by New Kid Co. I kid not that this was the first PlayStation game I ever played. I am a sad, sad child. But, yeah, therefore I do have somewhat of a soft spot for this game, but it's not a big one. We'll probably cover this at some point. I don't know when, though. Then we have Looney Tunes Racing. This one's fine. It was published by Infogrames and developed by doesn't say, and I don't remember who developed it, so yiko. This one's okay. It's not great by any means, but I still thought it was a decent little kart racer. Challenges in this game are hard, though. Yeah, very hard. Then we have Monsters, Inc. Scream Team. This is the version that I would recommend you guys playing. Yeah, it's pretty much the same game as the PS1 game, except it does some things better. And again, the reason why the PS2 version is not my favorite is because they just kind of ported this game with newer graphics, and some of the animations did not translate well on the newer models. But yeah, same people, obviously. Not much to say there. This one was actually published by Sony, so that's interesting. But yeah, another one that I think is okay. Not great, but fine. Then we have Muppet Monster Adventure. This game goes for so much, honestly. And the PlayStation logo is sun-faded. God damn it. Well, whatever. At least the rest of the case ain't. This was published by Midway and developed by Magenta Software. Sorry I'm not showing the inside of these games. It's just like I can't do that one-handed, so sorry. This is a Spyro the Dragon clone, if you could believe that. So it's like a collect-a-thon game. It's fine. I actually really like it. I think it's regarded as like the best Muppet game. Maybe that's why it goes for so much. But, yeah, I think it's a decent game, honestly. So, yeah. Then we have Muppet Race Mania. This is an okay car racer. It's not the greatest one I've ever played. Published by Midway and developed by Traveler's Tales. They seem to pop up a lot, don't they? I do like the amount of Muppets they have in this game. But, yeah, it's okay. It's not great. There's another company right there. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they also did some assisting, I believe. They also assisted on the development of Toy Story 1, which I forgot to mention. Huh. Well, there you go. There you go. Now that clears up everything. then we move on to this next game here, which is Nicktoons Racing. This was not the original version. We'll get to that soon. This version was published by Infogrames, although it was originally supposed to be published by the original publisher of the original version, which, again, we'll get to. And it was developed by Software Creations. I think they also did the Mario Paint 64 stuff in Japan for the Nintendo 64 disc drive, which never made it to the US. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. This one is not my favorite version of the game. It's really hard. It definitely has a lot of rubber banding. Sometimes it's inconsistent. But, not much to say there. I can't really say much about that one. Then we have Rocket Power Team Rocket Rescue. Same reason as Beach Bandits. I only own this because I bought all these games on a whim, I swear to God. What is that? Black Dark? What is that? I can't even read that. Dark Black? Okay, that's just a very subjective name for a developer, but they developed this, and it was published by THQ. And this is like a very mangled skateboarding game. I don't like it. I don't know if you can tell that. Then we have Rugrats in Paris. This is pretty similar to the N64 version. Same deb, same publisher. There are less paths in the worlds. I don't know if you'll understand that. And Tommy does have dialogue in this one, which is nice. So, yeah. Not much to say there. If anything, I'd probably say this is the better version just for that alone. So, yeah. Then we have, right here, Rugrats Search for Reptar. This is probably the Rugrats game that I'm sure everybody knows about. This was developed by N-Space and published by THQ. And, yeah, it's a little crappy little baby game, but I mean, it has a little bit of a charm to it. And I think it's like the most faithful Rugrats game out there. It's, yeah, there's not much. They did it for the kids according to the credits, so there's not really, it has its purpose, but it's just not much to say about it, so, not really much there. If I can get this back in there, I can say that similarly for the next game here, Rugrats Studio Tour, developed by the same people, N-Space, THQ. It has a lot of the same problems as Search for Reptar, but it's fine. I mean, it has more polish, I'd say. The frame rate isn't as dippy. Is that even the right way to say it? And facial animations are improved and such. I think it's fine. Not great, but fine. So, yeah, not much to say there. And then we have, and I only have this because, again, completion's sake with these Rugrats games, Rugrats Totally Angelica. 8 out of 5. I wouldn't give this game an 8 out of 5. What are you talking about? I don't know who had the right idea to give Angelica her own game. This version of the game was published by THQ and developed by Art. There was an entire Totally Angelica lineup of merchandise, and the original version of this game was a part of it. It's not this version. This version came a year later. We'll get to the original version when we do, folks. Yikes. But moving on, we have Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I don't like this one. This is also another early PlayStation game of mine, and I was terrible at it. This was also developed by Art. Great. And it was published by THQ. This is a Crash Bandicoot clone. Did I say that? I don't know. It's Crash Bandicoot if he ate too much McDonald's, whatever. I was trying to say that'd be funny. Clearly, it didn't work out too well. Sesame Street Sports. I only bought this to cover it for a friend's birthday, because I have a friend who's obsessed with Sesame Street. New Kid Co. published it, and it was developed by Real Time Associates, who did Rugrats Scavenger Hunt and All Real Monsters. I mean, this is a Sesame Street game, so there's not much to say here. I'm surprised it's E for everyone and not early childhood. I will say that, honestly. And it's not really a major sports game. You're just kind of going down a path. Is Big Bird T-posing? Okay, then that's interesting. Moving on. Here we have Shrek Treasure Hunt. This is basically a more extended version of Goofy's Funhouse, even sharing some of the same mini-games. So, yeah, I think this is worse, honestly. And this game tends to have an issue where it just likes to freeze up, or, like, not load, even if your copy is scratchless. Oh, whatever. TDK Media Active, I don't know what the Impulse stuff is for, and it was developed by the Code Monkeys. Why do they always have to show up whenever I say, what is that? One disc. Really? I didn't think, though. I thought there was 5 in here. Okay. Moving on, we have Super Sponge. Many people declare this as SpongeBob's best game ever made, period. I hate this game. This is my least favorite SpongeBob game. It is such a mangled, poorly designed game with hazards and enemies oozing out of the walls, and I don't like it. I hate this game, honestly, because it's just so messy. This was developed by Climax and published by THQ. I do not declare this as the piece of resistance when it comes to SpongeBob games, so I'm sorry. Hate me if you want, but I don't like this game. I'll stick with Battle for Bikini Bottom. Thank you very much. Here we have Spyro the Dragon. This is fine. Another good collectathon. It was by Insomniac Games and published by Universal. Okay. I've heard the sequels are better. So, probably because Tom Kenny voiced him in the sequels. So, yeah, I'll have to check those out at some point. Oh, then again, I have the Reignited trilogy. I need to get on that. I'm jumping ahead, goddammit. Why must you do this to me, Spyro? Okay. Simpsons Wrestling. I don't know why I own this. Why do I own this again? I don't remember. Published by Activision, at least in the US. I think EA took care of it in Europe. And it was developed by Big Ape Productions, I think. Interesting name for a company. Would a Donkey Kong develop this? I think this game has a cult following now, but it was once deemed as like one of the worst Simpsons games ever made, period. I think skateboarding is worse. I didn't even know that this game actually had a cult following, in fact, until I posted one line from the game and said the game sucked balls, and then everybody attacked me, because that's what Twitter is good for, people. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have no comment because of that, because I'm not safe. I've probably already ticked off the Super Sponge fans. Who knows what? Then again, this one feels more like a Mandela effect. Wild Thornberry's Animal Adventures. This gives me major vibes of the Universal game and the Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers game. It's not the same people. This is developed by a company called No Wonder, who typically did PC games. So it's kind of weird that they're doing this. I think they did another Wild Thornberry's game. It was published by Mattel Entertainment. I said that wrong, and I already said the developer. I'm an idiot. Not much to say here. This does have a password system. I thought that was only an early PlayStation game thing, but this game came out in the year 2000, and it does that. Interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, let's put that back. That's the wrong place. Where did this go? Right there. So I tried to readjust the camera with, like, whatever. We have Tigger's Honey Hunt. Has anyone noticed that these new Kidco games have, like, white backgrounds? I have no idea why that is the case, but whatever. Same people who did Piglet's Big Game, for developer's sake. This is a 2D platformer in a 3D environment. It's fine when you're doing the main campaign, but then once you get to, like, the time trial stuff, it falls apart. So I don't think I can be asked to 100% this game. So, sorry. Then we have Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. Again, this time the PlayStation version. This is the best version. This has the best presentation. I mean, sure, the Dreamcast version has better audio quality for the movie clips. But you know what? Other than that, this is a good version of the game. Same developers, and I declare this as the best version. So, there you go. I would recommend this one. And I think it's the cheapest one anyway. I don't know. I haven't checked the price of that one in a while. And then lastly for PlayStation 1 is Toy Story Racer. Similar to Muppet Race Mania, it's also developed by Traveler's Tales. It's published by Activision instead. I don't know. This one's okay, I suppose. It's not great by any means, but whatever. I don't really have much to say about that one. Moving on, we have this shelf. Yes, let's start. Ow, I just hit that. Yiko. Here we have Cars for Xbox 360. This is pretty much the same as the past generation versions, just with better graphics. It was developed by, I think, Rainbow Studios and published by THQ. This has an extra mode with Mater and the Ghost Light. It's not really anything worth talking about. So, there you go. Then we have DreamWorks Superstar Karts. I actually 100%ed this game. Back when I used to own it on PlayStation 3. I also did it again here. This one's fine. The controls are a little finicky, but I still think it's okay. It was the last time, I believe, Mark Mosley voiced Donkey, so that's kind of sad because I really liked his Donkey. It was developed by High Impact Games. Interesting. And it was published by Activision, I believe. There you go. Yeah, I'll probably cover that at some point, or just do some rounds for it, or a one-off, I'm not sure. Then we have LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy on Xbox 360. Why do I not own the complete saga? I don't know. I need to get that at some point. Plus, I guess it's the same reason why this game is backwards compatible, along with the complete saga on the newer Xboxes, but not the original LEGO Star Wars. I don't know why they thought that, whatever. moving on. Oh, yeah, obviously TT Games and the same people, you know. Madagascar Carts. This one's fine. Shrek's in it. That's a fact. It was by City. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Activision. Not much to say about that one. I used to have the DS version, which is pretty much a port, but just with DS-ified levels. Is that the way to put it? Here's Nicktoons MLB. Like what I said with the Family Guy game, it was published by 2K and developed by High Voltage Software. This was a crossover not only with Nicktoons, but it was also a crossover with MLB All-Stars. Why did I say MBL? I'm an idiot. I don't follow sports, if you can't tell. I only bought this because it has Nicktoons on it. Yeah, I'm pathetic. Here we have the next-gen version of Ratatouille I mentioned. This one was published by THQ, as I said, and this was the one that was primarily developed by Heavy Iron and advertised. I think I actually saw this trailer, the trailer for the game, in movie theaters when I went to see Ratatouille, actually, back in 2007, so that's kind of funny for you. This version's worse. This version's a lot worse. It has less polish. It doesn't feel as nice. It does not feel like the next-gen version. So, yeah, I would not recommend this version. So, there you go. I have Shrek the Third. Why do I have this? I don't remember. Published by Activision. Much like Cars, it's just a nicer port of, like, the main game that was on all the other consoles. It was developed by, there we go, them. They were the same people who did Shrek Super Slam. I have not finished this one yet. This one is also in my backlog. Dang it. I am not doing so good with backlogs. Here's SpongeBob Hero Pants. I've already talked about this. Same people. This one doesn't have a bunch of loading screens in one level, but still, it's not great. I don't like it. It requires 2 controllers to truly 100% the game, and I hate that. Goodbye. Okay, get stuck, why don't you? Then we have SpongeBob Surf and Skate Road Trip. This is the only Kinect exclusive game I have. Yeah, it's not good. It's developed by THQ, published by THQ, and developed by Blitz Games, this being their last SpongeBob game. They did develop another one that I haven't shown, but we'll get to it at some point. Yeah, I never really got around to playing this game until last year, and it sucks. It sucks. Next up is SpongeBob Truth or Square. This is the Xbox 360 version, published by THQ and developed by Heavy Iron. This one's fine. A little too straightforward compared to the other Heavy Iron SpongeBob games, but it's okay. It's better than the special, in my opinion. Then we have some Ninja Turtle games based on the 2012 Nickelodeon series. This is obviously just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one is meh, honestly. It's published by Activision, developed by Magic Pockets. This was when this was when Nickelodeon had Activision had the Nickelodeon license. That was rather short-lived. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Danger of the Ooze. Sounds so close to Secret of the Ooze. Also, meh. 2D platformer game. I should probably get more on this one. This one was developed by Way Forward and published by Activision. Maybe that's a good reason to probably try and do this game again. I'm not sure. I can't even talk today, god damn it. I don't know. I don't know much about comment. I haven't played that much of that one. Then we have the Simpsons game. This one's fine. This was the last major Simpsons game ever released, unless you want to count Tapped Out. This is when EA snagged up exclusive rights to the Simpsons video game rights. Okay, that sounded wrong. I think it was developed by one of their in-house studios. Yeah, this, it's kind of sad. I think they really made it clear that the Simpsons do not like being video games. And this was 2007, people. That is depressing. That's very depressing. Ugh. What a sad time. That's almost 17 years ago. And the Simpsons haven't had a major game since then. Then we have Toy Story 3. This is the one by Avalanche Studios, who also did Tak and Rugrats, Spoil Ransom and whatnot, and Disney Infinity. In fact, you can easily tell that because they introduced the Toy Box mode in this game. It's not as, it's nowhere close to what you're thinking, like the Disney Infinity Toy Box mode, which I'd say is way better. But the Toy Box mode here is still fun. But yeah, it's definitely a decent game in my opinion. Not great, but decent. Then we have some Wii games. Ain't that nice? First up, we have Barnyard on Wii. Same deal, same developers. This one uses motion controls, although it has a lot more polish, more music, more dialogue, more animations, and extra cutscenes and extra games. Basically, this one is like the most polished version. It's also a North American launch title for the Wii, so there you go. Yeah, this is one game where I don't mind dealing with motion controls because of the extra stuff. Then we have Cooking Mama Cook-Off. I've never played the DS one, but I grew up with this one. Is Cooking Mama a girl franchise? I don't freaking know. I mean, cooking isn't specifically for women, no matter what corporations tell you. Majesco. What a lovely group of people. Yeah, I like Cooking Mama. I want to cover this at some point, but I just don't know how people will take to it. It's interesting, needless to say. But I don't know, maybe in due time. Then we have something that I completely forgot I had. Kirby's Dream Collection, Special Edition. This thing goes for a lot of money nowadays. This box has seen better days. I found this in my attic recently. I forgot I had this. I was super worried the game wasn't going to work anymore, but thankfully it does. So, yes. I have not lost this expensive thing. I can't sell it now, goddammit, but oh well. It's nice. It's cool. This is Nintendo and HAL Laboratory, so nice. Nice. Then we have Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is one of the another early Wii game I had. Let's see, Sega, obviously. Is Nintendo anywhere here? I don't see Nintendo anywhere. Oh no, licensed by Nintendo. Oh no, I don't see Nintendo as a logo. It's weird. And typically that's how it worked with these Mario crossovers. The person of the other franchise that was featured would develop it. It's like how Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle or the Mario Rabbids games were developed by Ubisoft. Yes, it was in conjunction with the 2008 Olympics. That's interesting. But yeah, I love this game a lot. I didn't replay that, honestly. Then we have Mario Kart Wii. I have a lot of friends who love this one. I think it's okay. I know some people think it's the worst one. It had the toughest items, let's just say that. A lot of ways to play. But, it's okay. Not great, but I think it's okay. I have some memories with this one. This is when I really got into Mario Kart. And I started, like, buying the other ones on Virtual Console and such. And I eventually owned them physically, obviously. Nintendo, as always. Then we have Nicktoons Attack of the Toy Bots. I think this is like the first Wii game I ever got. I am pathetic, as always. Also developed by Blue Tongue Entertainment. Published by THQ. You know, this is actually my favorite of the Nicktoons Unite saga, mainly because you can choose your characters here. It's not forced. So, that's nice. I likey. Me likey a lot. Then we have Nicktoons Globs of Doom, or SpongeBob featuring Nicktoons Globs of Doom. This was a tactic that they used for the international games because SpongeBob was more popular and because some of these shows were not owned by Nickelodeon or not affiliated with Nickelodeon internationally, like Fairly Odd Parents and I think Danny Phantom. I'm not so sure. Nowadays, it's not a problem because Shout Factory, whatever. It had Zim in it. Confusingly, it had Zim instead of Fairly Odd Parents, but I don't mind. I like Zim. Yeah, this one it's okay. It's not really that polished. PS2 version's a piece of crap in my opinion. And, yeah, it wasn't by Blue Tongue Entertainment. It was by... I can't read that because the camera won't. It's too dark. I can't read it. You, whatever. SpongeBob's Boating Bash. This is like a Demolition Derby clone. It was compatible with the Wii Wheel. That's interesting. Even though that's like a piece of plastic. This is fine. I think the Wii Wheel, honestly, is better to use with this game. This game is honestly better with motion controls. This is another example where playing with motion controls is better because the turning is a lot tighter with motion controls here. I don't know why. And I found that out recently. So, yeah, if I'm playing this game, I'm playing it with the Wii Wheel. So, yeah, it was developed by Impulse Games and published by THQ. So, there you go. I used to own the DS version, but I don't own that anymore. I might have to try and regame that at some point, re-get it. Then we have SpongeBob Creature of the Krusty Krab for the Wii. This is also another North American launch title for the Wii. It was also about, I don't know if I forgot to mention this, but SpongeBob Creature from the Krusty Krab was the first SpongeBob game released in Japan. So that's interesting. Same publisher, same developer. It uses motion controls. The huge. Yeah, this has an exclusive mode called Sponge Band. It's nothing much, really. So, yeah. SpongeBob SquigglePants. I already told you guys I had the Wii version. It uses an accessory by THQ called the U-Draw Game Tablet. Yeah, this game is the only reason why I bought that thing. And it's actually the main reason why people hate this game, because why would you buy an accessory for a game? That's dumb. Stupid. Yeah, I still like this game, though. I Yeah, I'm a sucker for these kind of things. Then we have Super Mario Galaxy, another Nintendo game. Probably the one of the best Mario games ever made. It's a great game. I love this game, honestly. Big game though, very big game. I have a friend who's doing a Let's Play for this game, and it's taken a long time. So, yiko. And also, I like Super Mario Galaxy 2 with Yoshi. So there you go. Nintendo again, the usual. Not much to say. It's pretty much the same. Just they just expanded upon it, and that's why a lot of people love it more. And I personally agree myself. So there we go. Then we have Smash Brothers Brawl. This is often regarded as like the worst Smash Brothers game. I have a friend who really loves this game. I do like the Nintendo Chronicles in this, which is like a list of all of the officially released Nintendo games, including their licensed games, believe it or not. So like Popeye and Mickey Mouse and Snoopy Tennis is in there. So that's interesting. I wish they'd bring that back, but they probably don't want to remind people of that. Yeah, this is when third-party characters came in. Snake and Sonic made it in. And this had the adventure mode, obviously. Or, like, you know, the story mode, whatever you call it. So, yes, I have my memories with this one. That was another birthday gift of mine. Then we have Wacky Races Crash and Dash. This is basically Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. I don't own that game, but I know it requires shaking the Wii remote and nunchuck like a madman to move. So, yeah, this one's not fun. Who did this one? Damn. They did it. Yay. Ah ha ha ha. It has the same voices of Dick Dastardly Muttley and the voice the announcer from the Dreamcast game, and none of the other people are voiced, which is sad. So yeah, that's really sad, but it is what it is. And then we have one other Wii game here, which is Wii Sports. Nintendo, definitely, you know, it's a solid Wii game. Obviously, just show the capabilities. It had its moments, obviously. I should get Wii Sports Resorts. I heard, or Wii Sports Resort, whatever it's called, I heard that has a lot more to it. So I really should try to get that at some point down the line. Not sure when, though. Then we have some Wii U games. I used to have more than this, but either I sold them because I didn't like them, or I have them digitally. So, yeah. Here we have Mario Kart 8. This is like another Mario Kart that I spent a lot of time on. It's fine. The battle mode is weird in this game, but otherwise, it's fine. I like Mario Kart 8. I don't really play this version anymore for an obvious reason, which we'll get to. Then we have Nintendo Land. I love Nintendo Land. Honestly, one of my favorite Nintendo multiplayer titles. If I had a real-life friend, or anyone that mattered to play this game with, I would gladly do this from a gaming series, but there's no way I'm playing this game without covering Luigi's Ghost Mansion and Mario Chase. An Animal Crossing festival, what was that called again? Where is it actually on this stupid thing? Blind. Animal Crossing Sweet Day. I am not covering this game without covering those. It is impossible to cover this game without covering those 3 games, because they are the best. So, yeah. Sorry. That's how that works. Then we have SpongeBob Plankton's Robotic Revenge by Activision and Behavior Interactive. Very much the same as Hero Pants, except it has a little bit more polish, and at least they try to set an image that they're not trying to make a cash grab. This game, that game, they didn't even care. This one, they tried to be a bit professional. I say that very loosely. This is the only Nickelodeon game on Wii U, so there you go. And it sucks. I actually hate this one more because it's more tedious. It was clearly made as a multiplayer title, and it was not justified for single player, and there's so many ambushes in the game, it'll make your head spin, and to make matters worse, it's accompanied with this stupid, annoying surfer tune, and it's the reason why I hate this game more than Hero Pants. I hate this game so much. Let's just put it back. If it wasn't for the collection's sake, I'd get rid of it. We have Super Mario 3D World. I bought this around launch, actually. And yeah, I really love this game, actually. Nintendo, as always, not much to say. Meow. Yes. Some Year of Luigi shit in there. Just piss people off by mentioning that. Smash Brothers on Wii U. I used to have 3DS, but I thought it was, so I just got rid of this. I spent a lot of time in this Smash Brothers game as well. I kind of did that with all of them, whatever. You could use the 3DS as a controller. Ooh, interesting. And amiibo support. Whatever. It's fine, yeah. I like some of the trophies in this one. 8-player Smash was cool. And DLC stuff, yes, Pac-Man was in it. I liked that a lot, actually. But yeah, not much else to say there. Let's move on to the bottom shelf of this bookshelf.
Moving on to the bottom shelf. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. One of my relatives is watching Bob's Burgers. This is a very obscure console, if you could even call it a console. It's a DVD thing called Interact TV by Fisher-Price. I grew up with it. That's why I bought it. I bought it, again, for shits and giggles. And these are all of the games that were ever made for it. There's a console I own that I have all the games for. It's like the Virtual Boy all over again, isn't it? This is like a preschooler thing, so these are all like things. Dora, Rapido Tico, this is by Fisher-Price, if you couldn't tell. It's a DVD with like 1 or 2 or 3 episodes and a bunch of crappy Flash games attached to them. It's not that good. Then we have a Nickelodeon pack. I think it's called the Nickelodeon Triple Pack with Fairly Odd Parents, Tiny Timmy, Jimmy Neutron, My Son the Hamster, and SpongeBob Boating School. Yeah, not much to say there. How it worked is that it came with cards, and you'd plug it into this like Wii U gamepad looking thing. Here's SpongeBob Krusty Krab Adventures. Not much else to say there. I don't really have much else to say. I think I got that one for a birthday originally. Here we have Clifford's Puppy Days. Friends Help Out. Who remembers this show, honestly? I sure as hell don't. Okay, that's a lie, I do. But, yeah. Kind of weird that, I guess it's like Muppet Babies or Pup Named Scooby-Doo, that kind of thing. Except this was like, 2000-something, not the 80s. It's weird how that works. I have to put that back in. These cases are so weird. I like the colorful cases. It looked nice when you like... I don't have them set alphabetically. I have it in like color, so it's kind of like a rainbow thing. I'm pathetic. I think you guys already know that. Here's the starter pack that comes with the damn thing. We have SpongeBob Jellyfishing. Actually, no, it's not Jellyfishing. It's Jellyfish Hunter. So they got the wrong episode here. I got Dora, Hide and Go Seek. And then Elmo's World. Yes, my favorite Nickelodeon show, Sesame Street. Just pretend that Noggin is still in its prime. It was 2004, so technically it was. So I guess that's how this was excusable. And it's the Wild Animals segment of Elmo's World. So, yeah. And speaking of that, we have the Sesame Street pack. Obviously, they weren't able to fit like hour-long episodes of Sesame Street on here, so they just took some of the popular segments of the time, like Journey to Ernie, Elmo's World, and Cookie Monster's Letter of the Day. This is Volume 1. I guess there were plans for a second one, but that never happened. So, yeah. Who remembers Journey to Ernie? That was the shit. Okay. And then we have Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends. Who remembers this? I don't. Okay, that's a lie. I do. This one got a bit squished. I think this one had baby food all over it, because, again, this was a baby thing. I subject myself to the worst shit imaginable, people. Best Buggy Adventures. Nice. That's cute. That's lovely. Squash the bug. Then we have another Dora pack. Yeah, this is the only one that got a Volume 2. Mixed Up Seasons. This is the only one with 4 cards instead of 3. So, yeah. What am I doing with my life? Actually, seriously. Then we have a Blue's Clues pack. Numbers Everywhere. That's the episode. I have a DVD that has, like, that episode along with, like, 10 others. So that's sad. That goes to show just how dumb these things were. And then we have Scooby-Doo pack. Mystery at the Snack Factory. This is actually What's New Scooby-Doo episode. Recipe for Disaster. So, yeah. It's kind of weird. And then we have, oh boy, we got Barney and Friends. Oh, yes, Barney. Celebrate with Barney, except that's not the name of the episode. It was, I think it was Your Birthday, Barney is what it was. I don't know. I think the Nickelodeon ones have Nick Games logo in them. I forgot. I haven't played them in a long time, but yeah, that's weird. Yes. Why was there no Thomas the Tank Engine? Why was there no Bear in the Big Blue House? No Book of Pooh? Disney was absent in this. I guess they realized it was going to be a crappy crap shoot. Yeah. Then we have some newer Xbox games. These are actually Xbox One and Series X games, but I have them grouped since, you know, Series X can play Xbox One games, so why the hell not? So let's do that very quickly. Here we have Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. This is what we ended up getting the true Crash for. It was by Toys for Bob with the assistance of Beanox, and it was published by Activision. So, yep. Definitely one of the best things that Activision has done. Also,
the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. They made a new level for Crash 3 and restored the Stormy Ascent level that was cut from Crash 1 for being too hard. And rightfully so, it is hard. Yes, they definitely did a good job. They did a great job remaking these games. They really, they definitely did some changes to Crash 1 to make it more in line with these other games, which is very much welcomed. So, yes, this is definitely the definitive way to play Crash 1, or all of these games for that matter, honestly. So, yeah, best example of how to remake a game right here, people. Or games, for that matter. Lego The Incredibles. I only own this just because of how weird it is that they chose this, of all properties, to make a Lego game out of. I know there was a small Incredibles brand for a short time around the time that Incredibles 2 came out. You start with 2 in this game instead of 1, which I think is really dumb. It's weird having Disney and Pixar next to Warner Brothers. Okay, it's not the first time, though. I bought this mainly because I heard there was a bunch of other Pixar characters in this game, like Woody and Flick and Lightning McQueen. So, yeah, that's the only reason why I bought this. Okay. Next up we have Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, published by Game Mill Entertainment and developed by Fair Play Labs and Ludosity. This is fine. A decent little Smash clone. The sequel was better. I don't have that physically, but we'll get to that. Don't worry. Yeah, I think this was fine. Not much to say about this. Game Mill did fine there. Although they did not do fine with this game. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 1, published by Game Mill Entertainment and developed by Bamtang. Now, a lot of people were hyped for this game because it's been a while since... It was a long while since we heard about Nickelodeon games. And everybody thought THQ Nordic was doing this since they announced in 2018 that they were acquiring the THQ Nickelodeon games and making new ones as well. And, yeah, that really, nothing really came of that aside from, like, 5 games. 6, if you count that new AAA Ninja Turtles game coming out, at some point. This game's terrible. Easily the worst Nickelodeon game I ever played. Do not buy this. I beg you. It's terrible. Okay. Kart Racers 2, I thought it was going to be a train wreck 2 because it just had more characters and more stuff. And, see, despite the game being a horrible train wreck to play, a lot of people hated Kart Racers 1 because there was only 12 characters. And, yeah, the thing is, I thought that meant this game was going to suck. It's actually a lot better. Still not great by any means, but I still think it's a far better Kart Racer than Kart Racers 1. Same people. Bamtang has learned their mistake. They have a mission mode in here, like Mario Kart DS, so that's nice. So, yeah, not much to say there. Sorry for that random cut there. I had to let my dogs out. Moving on, we have Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. I mean, this box art's pretty freaking cool. You have Garfield on a motorcycle. That's enough to make me buy this. This took a few steps back. It had voice acting, which the early Game Mill games didn't have. A lot of their games actually didn't. But I think All-Star Brawl 1 was like their first biggest hit, believe it or not. And that's when they started making games that were more presentable, I'd suppose. Still not great games. They mainly emphasize on like making cheap couch multiplayer games, but they're okay. I mean, I wish they'd do something bigger. But they're putting more care into these Nick games than they used to, so I can count that as a win. Same people, Game Mill, Bamtang. Yeah, it had Jimmy Neutron. He's been gone for a while, so that's nice. But yeah, this one's fine, but there were some issues with this one. I'm not going to get into it here because it's a big mess. I actually had this and Kart Racers 2 digitally at first, but I waited about a year or two for these games to go down in price so I can get them physically for the collection. Once again, pathetic. You don't have to say it because I just said it for you. Here we have Rare Replay. This is a collection of 30 rare games, including Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Battletoads, Snake Rattle and Roll, etc., so on and so forth, RC Pro-Am, and Viva Pinata, Perfect Dark, all those. It's great. I actually really like this. It was definitely a must-buy just to have all these games, including like most of the major Banjo-Kazooie games, and Conker and all that. So, yeah, this is definitely a must-have for any, like, Rare fan, even though there's, like, no Donkey Kong Country, obviously. They couldn't do that for reasons. But, yeah, obviously, Rare Were they involved with, were these people involved with the collection, or did Rare put it together themselves? I'm not sure. Microsoft obviously published it, since obviously they're the current owners of Rare. So, yeah, there you go. That's all I can say here. Then we have SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is a remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom. It was published by THQ Nordic because everybody wanted them to make Nickelodeon games, and it was developed by Purple Lamp Studios. Yeah, this is not my preferred version of the game. Even the back of the box is cheaper. Yeah, this game was a mess. It was a train wreck. It was unpolished. And it actually resulted in Battle for Bikini Bottom being deemed as a generic piece of shovelware that was memed up by a bunch of nostalgic morons. And I'm not calling them that. That's just what some other people put it. Basically, this game, in a sense, if you ever wonder why people don't talk about Battle for Bikini Bottom as much as they used to, you have this game to blame. I wish this didn't happen. I kid you not. Thankfully, though, THQ Nordic did a lot better with their next SpongeBob game, The Cosmic Shake. It was much more polished. Although it did not launch with Xbox Series X enhancements, it would later get them. And I'm glad, because the game looks fantastic as is. It's actually really great. I gotta cover this at some point. Yes, a lot of people hated it too. Again, IGN hated it because that's all they are good for with these games. They meme them up and then they say they're crap. But I think this is a great game. It's straightforward, but in my opinion, just because a game is straightforward doesn't mean it's immediately bad. I think the game has to do something really bad in order for it to be bad. But I personally enjoyed this game. Purple Lamp and THQ Nordic definitely redeemed themselves with SpongeBob, and they're currently working on the Epic Mickey remake, so that's interesting. If it's like this, and if they follow a lot of the same strategies that they did with this one, then I'm sure it will go out pretty well. So, yeah, the only time will tell. Then we have the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I already mentioned this. This is by Activision and developed by Toys for Bob. It has the first 3 Spyro games. Yes. Oh, I think I forgot to say it, but this collection here was done by Vicarious Visions. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. I'm an idiot. Oh well, my first attempt at this kind of video was much sloppier with that. Eventually I had to give up on doing it, but I've made it this far, and I did a much better job, if I do say so myself. I don't know, I guess that could be determined. But yeah, I need to really continue on this. I don't know, I guess sometimes I just, in terms of collectathons, sometimes I get into it, sometimes I don't. But I do want to get into Spyro, though. I do want to get into Spyro, so needless to say, I will get on that at some point. Then we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. This is another fantastic collection of the Konami Ninja Turtle games. It was published by Konami themselves, and the collection was put together by Digital Eclipse. They're not on the back of the box, but you have my word on that. You have a lot of the great Konami games. You have, like, let's see, whatchamacallit, Ninja Turtles 3 on NES, and then you have the Ninja Turtles arcade game, and Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time, and the Tournament Fighter games, and the Game Boy games. It's really great. They eventually added some updates to add, like, Game Boy Color filters, and even Game Boy Light features of filters. Not even NSO has that. Who even remembers the Game Boy Light? I don't, because I'm not Japanese. But yeah, that was really nice, and the features. This is honestly a great example of how to do a collection. Digital Eclipse has been doing a great job with these collection games. This is the only one I own, but yes, this is a must-have for any Turtles fan. And then, finally for Xbox One and Series X, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants. This is a port of the arcade game from Raw Thrills, although this port was tackled by Cradle Games. I think, yeah, that's it, Cradle Games. Raw Thrills also did other games like Nicktoons Nitro and such. I wish that had a console port. This is, I haven't gotten into it, honestly. It's like a beat-em-up game, similar to the Konami ones, but I don't know. There's just something that's just not hitting right with me in this game. I'll try to give it another chance, considering, like, I'm really glad that they actually ported this arcade game, because I was curious about this game, honestly. It is better than the Activision ones, I will say that. So, yeah, needless to say. And then, yep, now we move on to Switch games. First up, we have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. As I mentioned before, with SpongeBob the Yellow Avenger, this port was handled by them, which is nice.
This is the current Let's Play going on with the channel, because I really wanted to do that game for Let's Play purposes. I know I finally have. A lot of people hated the fact that this barely looked like an optimized, it barely looked like an HD port. It was more or less just an optimized port, whatever. I don't care. I'm just glad that this game that was on a 3DS before is now on Switch. Fight me. Now we have Luigi's Mansion 3, which I feel like is what people wanted graphically for that. This is a great one, too. Definitely took things closer to the original game, although not by much. It tried to combine the two. It's still a great game, in my opinion. I still liked this one. Luigi was a little weird, but I still think this was fine. I think this was also developed by Next Level Games, who did Luigi's Mansion 2. Luigi's got some weird teeth on this cover. But yeah, I think this was supposed to have an original title like Dark Moon, but then they just like, screw it, let's just call Luigi's Mansion 3. And I guess that's why that one, the Switch port of that is just called Luigi's Mansion 2, which is confusing. I mean, not unless you were international, I suppose, or in Japan, whatever. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is the best version of Mario Kart 8, and I think one of the best Mario Kart games ever made. I have a soft spot for Double Dash still, but this one, especially with the DLC tracks in the Booster Course Pass, absolute must-have. This was, this is definitely like, I think this is one of the first Switch games I got, actually, so there you go. I definitely, if there's any Wii U game I was going to rebuy on Switch, it was this one. So, yeah, there you go. So, let me just put this back, because this is being a pain. There we go. And then, alright, I have the Switch version of this. This is the version that I bought at launch, but then I eventually bought the Xbox version for like $10, I kid you not. This game is worthless, and I hope it does not increase in price. I think some of the Switch versions actually had a misspelt label. This one is not misspelt, but, you know, great. Next up is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This was a limited time release. Not much to say here. Nintendo, the usual. I wouldn't really say it's great, but oh well. Then we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury was really interesting, honestly, and they actually did make some improvements to Super Mario 3D World. So again, this is the definitive version to play that game, actually, so there you go. And then we have, right here, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the newest Super Mario Bros. Game. This was a lot of fun, actually. This one was really nice, actually. The stylized stuff, you had Daisy. It was really cool. I actually liked this game a lot, actually. Really weird game, because that's the whole theme of it. Then we have Super Mario Maker 2. I do have Super Mario Maker 1 just digitally, in case you were wondering. But 2 definitely had a lot of improvements. In terms of making levels, you're better off getting like a iPhone pen toucher, whatever you call it. I don't know. That doesn't sound right. This was fine, though. It added a bunch of new stuff. It had a story mode. Okay, it wasn't really much of a story mode, but have more fun online. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, glitchy frame rate. I like that. That sounds fun. Ugh. But yeah, I should probably do another video for this, honestly. And then this last game right here is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the biggest Smash Bros. Game ever made, and it includes everybody from the previous games, so that's really cool. As said here, everyone is here. Every Smash Bros. Fighter returns, joined by all newcomers, all new challenges, whatever. And they added characters that everyone wanted, like King K. Rool and Ridley and Dark Samus. So that was cool. And then DLC was freaking crazy with Steve from Minecraft and Banjo-Kazooie. That was cool. The thing that would have made it better is if they had Crash Bandicoot, but that didn't happen. We got Sora, though. That was actually pretty cool. So, yeah, it is what it is. This is still a fantastic Smash Bros. Game. No trophies, though, or anything like that. I mean, there is the spirits. I guess that kind of replaces the trophies in a sense. It's kind of like the stickers, I guess, from, oh, that's exactly what it is. It's basically stickers from Brawl. I mean, those weren't in Wii U, so I suppose it was, I guess, makes sense. Give trophies a break. Bring back stickers in the form of spirits. That was fine. So, yeah, and that also had somewhat of a story mode. So, yeah, that's all of the games on this main shelf. I do have another bookshelf of games, but before we get to those, I'm going to cover a couple of loose games that I have floating around. All right, here's some loose Game Boy games that I have floating around without a box. Here's Donkey Kong for Game Boy. This was a puzzle platformer, obviously. Like this one a lot. I kid you not, I was fooled. I actually originally got the 3DS Virtual Console version of this game, thinking it was just a port of Donkey Kong. Oh boy, was I wrong.
Definitely one of the best Game Boy games ever made, hands down. Then we have Super Mario Land. This is definitely, yeah, this is the player's choice version. Oh, boy. I don't know what the heck happened there. I like Super Mario Land. I know that this game got added to NSO and everybody freaking hated it for some reason. I think it's a lot of fun, honestly. I don't mind it, honestly. It's like the Super Mario Brothers of the Game Boy. It's shorter, I guess, but, you know, typically when consoles launch, they have short games just to get people into it. And then we have the Game Boy Color version of Mickey Speedway USA. I only got this just so I can unlock Huey in the Nintendo 64 version. It wasn't worth it. And that's all of the loose Game Boy games I have, or loose games, I guess you could say. So let's move on to my second bookshelf, and then after that, we'll talk about my digitally downloaded games. Okay, welcome to my second bookshelf. This is where I keep all of my PC games and my Game Boy games. So let's not waste any more time. This is not, okay, this main row is alphabetical, but then this top stuff is just kind of random. So let's just cover that very quickly. First up we have Mickey Saves the Day. This is a point-and-click game. I found this at a garage sale. It was crap. It was developed by those people. Yeah, this is actually worse than the Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse, actually. Like, literally, actually. So, I did a whole live stream about it. That's how much it sucked. So, yeah, no comment on that. Then we have, if I can just slide this out. Actually, there's no easy way to do this. I'm going to have to do this one first, even though I'm going out of alphabetical order, whatever. The Simpsons Virtual Springfield. This is not a virtual reality game, if you thought that. This was developed by... who developed this? Them, Digital Something, and it was published by Fox Interactive, the huge. You just basically get to explore Springfield, which I'll admit is a cool concept. Yeah, not much to say there. This box is weird, and this the lid is it's like a board game almost, and the top part is like this cheap plastic material. So I gotta be careful with this. Let me put that down. Also packaged like a board game was the Muppets CD-ROM, also called Muppets Inside. I mean, this is fine. It's just a redundant collection of mini-games. And it gets tiring after a while. This was developed by Starwave in 1995 or 1996. Publisher, I don't know. I mean, it has a lot of Muppet humor, but it's just not, I wouldn't say it's great by any means. So, yeah. Not much else to say there. And then we have this main row, which is nothing but Nickelodeon games. So let's get right down to it. Here we have Blue's Clues, Blues ABC Time Activities. This was developed and published by Humongous Entertainment, who made a lot of the probably better known point-and-click games of our childhoods, probably like Putt Putt and Pajama Sam and Spy Fox and Freddy Fish. I grew up with some of those names, not all of them though. The Blue's Clues games are probably forgotten, but I personally, this is the only one I actually grew up with. I played a demo of another one, but, this is fine. Not much to say. It's a baby game. What more can you say? Then we have the only cat dog game ever made, Cat Dog Quest for the Golden Hydrant. I think there was a Golden Hydrant episode, but this has nothing to do with that. The back of the box doesn't even show screenshots of the game itself. It's actually one of these things with this kind of thing. And, that's the actual screenshots right there. This game is, like, the shortest game ever made. I kid you not. I think there's, like, high score stuff and such, but the main campaign is, like, 10 minutes long. So, don't even bother with that one. Then we have Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. This is the PC version. I forgot to mention the developer and publisher of this one. This was published by Hasbro Interactive and developed by Nowhere. I'm getting nowhere with this video, the way I'm messing this stuff up. Here we go. This was published by THQ and developed by Awe Productions, which is not on the back. This is a 3D adventure. A finicky controlling one at that, but you know what? I think it's better than the console game. This came out around the same time as the movie, unlike the console game. And, yeah, it's fine. It's not great, but I personally think it's a decent little game. I was actually replaying it recently, and I thought it was fun. So, yeah, that's nice. If I can get that back in there, perfect. Here we have Nickelodeon Brainbender. This is a Nickelodeon Activity Center from 1999. This was published by Mattel and developed by... It doesn't say who developed it. Okay, that's nice. It also has one of these right here. It features every Nicktoon up to that point, except for SpongeBob, since I think that was still relatively new or hadn't premiered yet, and Doug, because Disney had bought him at that point. Yeah, it also features Kablam, which is no longer considered a Nicktoon. It's kind of considered its own thing. Yeah, not much else to say there. Just basically crappy little activity center. Here's Nickelodeon Director's Lab, which, contrary to popular belief, is the first Nickelodeon crossover game, or at least the first game with multiple Nickelodeon properties in it. Then again, calling it a game is a stretch. It's a multimedia video software. It's a quirky little program of the time period, but it was published by Viacom New Media and developed by I have no idea. It also featured Melissa Joan Hart, who played Clarissa in Clarissa Explains It All, so that's interesting. Yeah, but it featured like Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, Rocco, Our Monsters, Double Dare, Nick Jr. It was cool. Not great, but it was alright. It was an interesting little software of the time. Then we have Nickelodeon Party Blast for PC. Same crap. Zim's on top instead of the back. The problem with this one is the controls are so mangled in this version. You have to find a controller that works with them. Just don't bother playing that game at all, okay? That's just nice and simple, okay? Then we have Nickelodeon Toon Twister 3D. This box has seen better days, but I got it for steal, so whatever. This is a movie-making software, and oh boy, is it a limited one. It was developed by Way Forward, surprisingly, and published by Scholastic, of all people. It's an interesting combination, but okay, there you go. Here we have Nicktoons Nicktoons. This is a singing game. This is literally a baby game. It feels like a freaking baby game, and it's one of the most baffling things I've ever seen in my entire life. I question if this is even real or not, but apparently it is because I'm holding it. It also has that crappy box thing. Yeah. Not much to say there, but this was published by Infogrames and developed by, I think it's on the bottom here, Imagine Engine. Did I say that right before? I think I said that wrong before. I don't know. Then, sorry, that's a big box if you couldn't tell, so my arm is a bit tired from lifting that. So let's move on now with Nicktoons Racing. This is the original version of the game. It was originally published by Hasbro Interactive, not Infogrames, but it was still developed by Software Creations. So there you go. This is honestly the better version. The controls are a little bit more finicky here, mainly the drifting, but I still think this is the better version of the game, honestly. This version was ported to arcades in 2003. The only difference is that they removed Stimpy due to the advent of the adult party cartoon in 2003. I think that show is actually gaining a cult following after the cancellation of the Comedy Central Ren and Stimpy. So, yeah, I have no comment on that. I certainly hope I'm wrong, but oh well. Rocket Power Extreme Arcade Games, crap. Did I say it was crap before? No, I think, okay, whatever. I can't pronounce that. THQ. Don't play this. I got this, I think I got this in a bid, and it was like $5. That just goes to show how much people don't care about the show. I myself don't. Again, only bought that because, again, I didn't know. Okay? I thought it was going to be like Rugrats, a happy fun time. I was so wrong. Again, if you like it, then whatever. Rugrats Adventure Game. This was developed and published by Broderbund. I hate this game. This is probably one of the worst point-and-click games ever made. Okay, no. I think it's tough. Either this or Mickey Saves the Day is the worst one. Mickey Saves the Day is just... It's worse as like a broken level. It's so unpolished. Where this one is just so restrict, and it has a lot of things that I don't like. I'm not going to get into detail here. And also, most of the Rugrats games on PC don't really run on softwares or have operating systems. This one does not work on anything other than the thing it was created for. I mean, virtual machines work, depending on which computer you have. So, I don't know. I wouldn't even say it's worth it. You're not really missing out on much. There used to be a patch for it, but it's no longer, it's long gone. Then we have Rugrats in Paris for PC. Unlike the console version, this was published by Mattel and developed by No Wonder. Once again, No Wonder. No wonder these things are terrible. This is a
a minigame collection instead of whatever the heck the console game was. They actually got Christine Cavanaugh to voice Chucky in this game, unlike the console version, which I think is kind of messed up since Chucky was the star of the movie. This artwork of Tommy and Angelica was used in the European box art for the other versions, except Angelica was a redhead. That was a thing that early 2000s Rugrats merch had for some reason. Not the last time you'll see it in this video. I mean, you didn't see it here, but you have my word on it. Then we have Rugrats Mystery Adventures, a big box. I think this also has that, yep. I think Adventure Game had a bigger box like this as well, but whatever. Another short game. It's barely, actually, it kind of repeats itself, actually. It's not really that good. It was published by Mattel and developed by Nowhere. Funny, the Cat Dog game works on newer hardware. This one does not work on anything past Windows XP, so that's kind of sad, actually. But, oh well, life, I suppose. Then we have SpongeBob Operation Krabby Patty. I like this big box, actually. It's really actually cool. That's just SpongeBob. It's THQ publisher, and then it was developed by Productions. Once again, it doesn't say. There's Plankton. His colors are a little weird. It's not sun faded. That's how it is on the box for some reason. But yeah, this is a clever box. Honestly, I like this box a lot. So yeah. Then we have the Rugrats Movie Activity Challenge. This was also a Broder Bun game. Like most movies, this one got a activity challenge. It was a 90s kind of thing, I guess. It's an activity challenge. Not much to say there. Let's see. Let me try and open this up without a problem here. Whoopsie gravy. There we go. Hard to do this with one hand. And, yep. There she blows. That sounded wrong. And that's all for my big box PC games. So let's move on to my Game Boy games. All right, here we are, Game Boy games. I collect these things complete in box. As you see, most of them are Nickelodeon games again. Again, I have a problem. All right, this is not a Game Boy game. This is a Tiger Electronics game for Rugrats. Enough said. Okay, let's actually get to the meat and potatoes here. Here we have the only original Game Boy game I have complete in box. Ren and Stimpy Space Cadet Adventures. I said that wrong. Published by THQ and developed by I don't know. This one isn't that good. Yeah, and end of story. Then we have Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book, another EC game I have. It was published by Mattel and developed by Vicarious Visions. Yeah, they went on to do the Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy. That's weird. Weird jump there. This one is, I mean, it's an EC game. What did you expect? No, it's kind of weird, honestly, but oh well. Let me try and get that back in. Then we have the Game Boy Color version of Nicktoons Racing. This one is weird. They got the names for the Angry Beavers mixed up. They called Norbert Daggett and Daggett Norbert. That's sad. This was also published by Hasbro Interactive, released around the same time as the PC version, although it was developed by, I think it was a company called Pipe Dream Studios or something. I don't remember. The game is missing Ren and Stimpy and Ah Real Monsters, so that's kind of sad. But, oh well, what can you do? So, yeah, I forgot this one take. I'm an idiot. Rocket Power Getting Air. I mean, again, the only reason why I own this is the same reason why I have the other ones. I was suckered in. I forgot the name of the company who developed this, and it was published by THQ. Enough said. I'm lucky I found these things cheap, or else I would have been miserable. Let me just say that. Here's the Game Boy Color version of Rugrats in Paris. I'd say this is the worst version. It was published by THQ and developed by Software Creations. They did not do well with Rugrats in this time period. Let me just tell you. This game has very strict time limits. Don't buy it. Then we have Rugrats Time Travelers. This is a Game Boy Color game that's backwards compatible with the original Game Boy and the Super Game Boy. So it's a black cartridge. It was published by THQ and also developed by Creations. This was a little bit better. No, not a little bit better. Okay, no, this was a little messier still, but it is better than their first Rugrats game, which we'll get to. I'm stuck on this one right now. I'm stuck on the Lil stuff with pirates and beanstalks. So,
Yeah, it also involves time travel. Let's throw the babies into a time travel scenario. That just doesn't sound right. Then we have Totally Angelica. This is the original version of the game from 2000, a part of the merchandise lineup of the same name. Look at this. Game Girl color. That's hilarious. Ha, 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 ha. Still, whoever decided to give Angelica her own game is like, yuck. Okay. This is pretty much the same thing as the PlayStation game, except it came before it. There are some differences. Some things that are better than the PlayStation game, some that are worse. The story is different. And it was published by THQ and developed by the same people who did that Rocket Power game. I don't remember their names, so there you go. Then we have SpongeBob Legend of the Lost Spatula. The colors are a bit weird here. This is the Game Boy Advance re-release, or the re-release that happened after the Game Boy Advance launched. I had no idea that there was a different version. This was developed by Vicarious Visions and published by THQ. This game is really tedious. You have to switch out your items a lot to get places. A lot of people say it's difficult because they don't know what the hell to do. This game is packed with references, but I don't know. It's not really that good. I wouldn't even bother with it. Then we have the Rugrats movie game, published by THQ and developed by Software Creations. It's also a black cartridge game, so you can have it on the original Game Boy and Super Game Boy. And the original Game Boy version had Super Game Boy content, namely just the border, which this version does have, so that's nice. So this technically doubles as the Game Boy and Game Boy Color version. There are some slight differences, but it's mainly the same. This is the worst Rugrats game ever. One of the worst ones, actually. It's the worst one that Software Creations made, so I do not recommend picking this one up. I'm always debating on getting the original Game Boy version of this, because it's one of the only other Rugrats games I don't have, but I don't know, the game is so bad, I just don't want to pick it up. Rugrats All Grown Up. No, it's not Rugrats, it's All Grown Up, Express Yourself. I don't know why I own it. Okay, I found this cheap for like $10 on, I forgot what that site was called. It was one of the newer ones. Mercari, it was not Mercari. It was, Mercari, that's what it is. Mercari, I don't forget what they called it. I saw a commercial for it once and then it said it. I don't know. Yeah, I know this is technically a girl game, so the things I do for this collection, god damn it, piece of crap. My sister grew up with this game as well. She also grew up with Danny Phantom, the Ultimate Enemy. Yeah, not much to say here. Actually, who developed this one? I forgot to say. THQ, I think it was Altron who developed that one. And I think they also did this one as well. So, yeah, not much to say there. Then we have the Hey Arnold movie game. I don't know, this is the only Arnold game that was ever created for consoles, or anything, for any console that matter. It was published by THQ and developed by, I think this was also developed by Altron. They reused a lot of their sound effects and such for their Game Boy games. It's kind of scary, actually. Not much to say there, haven't finished that. Abner is an enemy. I take great offense to that. Watch that damn movie or the show, whatever. Okay, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius for Game Boy. This released around the same time as the PC version. That Goddard looks a bit weird, and this description is a bit weird, but whatever. This was developed by, no, published by THQ and developed by, I think, Humansoft was the name of the company. They did a 2D platformer. I have not finished this one yet. I gotta continue on that. Then we have Mario Kart Super Circuit. A lot of people say this is the worst one. I think it's okay. I don't think it's great either, but it's better than Super Mario Kart. Because at least, like, even though it plays similar to that one, it does fix a lot of the issues I have. It has a lot of the Mario Kart 64 stuff. So I think Super Circuit's fine. Not great, but fine. So, there's a little bit of a dent in the box. I don't know if you can see it. Oh well. I'm lucky that I was able to get this for the price I did. So it is what it is. Then we have, no, it's a Nintendo. Then we have Nicktoons Freeze Frame Frenzy. This is actually interesting. There was supposed to be a console version of sorts, I think. I'm not sure. It was supposed to be by the same people who did the Looney Tunes games I talked about. But, yeah, that didn't happen. But yeah, this is fine. It was also by Altron. They seem to really be big with these. It's like a Pokemon Snap kind of game. And there's Zeem in the background, if you can see him. So, Zeem! Yes. Then we have the Game Boy Advance version of Nicktoons Racing. This was published by Infogrames, as usual, and developed by Crawfish. That's interesting. This was released in 2002, and it was one of the last versions of the game, whatchamacallit. This is very similar vein to Super Circuit, except I think it's a little bit better, actually. It controls a bit better, honestly. Then we have Nicktoons Unite on Game Boy Advance. This was also by THQ and Climax, which he still doesn't say. So that's interesting. This is a 2D platformer of the same vein. They tried reusing some of the stuff from DS, and it did not really work, in my opinion. It was ugly. Then we have Rocket Power Beach Band. It's on Game Boy Advance. I don't know why I have all these stupid games. I forgot who developed this one. Does it begin with an H? I don't know. Published by THQ. Crap. Then we have Rocket Power Dream Scheme. I also forgot who developed this one. I think it was the same people who did that. I think this is basically Creature from the Krusty Krab, but with Rocket Power. I don't know. Again, why do I have these? I don't know. Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answers to. It's, again, I already told you the reason. Then we have Rocket Power Zero Gravity Zone. This was supposed to get a console game, but that got canceled for, I think, what, financial issues or something? I'm not so sure. THQ published it. It was developed by, I think, also Altron. They seem to show up a lot now, don't they? This box has seen better days. But, yeah. Then we have Rugrats Castle Capers, which in my opinion is the only Software Creations Rugrats game that doesn't suck. It's not great by any means. It's slippery, and the health system's a little weird, but, you know. Oh, look, Redhead Angelica. There she is. I told you we'd find her. Kimmy's just happy to be here. But, yeah. Honestly, I have a soft spot for this game. I got it around Christmas time. So, yeah, I personally like this game. I have some childhood memories with that. Then we have... Oh, yeah, this is going to be a bit difficult. Hold on, let me actually cut for a second. Alright, sorry, I had to, I ran out of room, so I had to stack my games at some point, so let's continue here. We have the Game Boy version of Rugrats Go Wild. This was, published by THQ and developed by, I don't think it says, and I don't remember. This is one of the last Rugrats games ever made. Of course, there is going to be a new one coming out in the form of Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. So, yeah, that's interesting. I'm really excited for that game. Speaking of Rugrats, we also have Rugrats I Gotta Go Party. This was a Rugrats party game. There is link cable support, so, I mean, it is doable, but, I don't know. That driving game's a piece of shit. I swear to God. This was developed by, I think, Eurocom. I think it was the name of the company, and it was published by THQ. It was okay. It's this very short 30-minute game. There's not much to say about it. Here's the Game Boy Advance version of Battle for Bikini Bottom. It was published by THQ and developed by Vicarious Visions, who also did Legend of the Lost Spatula. I think I forgot to say that, so there you go. This one's fine. It's like a puzzle platformer rather than a 3D open world game. Then we have the Game Boy Advance version of Creature from the Krusty Krab. This one's eh. THQ published this, and it was developed by Way Forward. Not much to say with this one. I think it's meh. Game Boy Micro's mentioned. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that one. SpongeBob Let's Carry Pants for Game Boy Advance, published by THQ, developed by Way Forward. It doesn't even say. This one has a different story involving production and things falling apart. Plankton's not even in the game, so I don't know why he's on the box art for this version. Probably because he was on the other versions. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. Poor bastard. Then we have Revenge of the Flying Dutchman for Game Boy Advance. This one's fine, honestly. I think this one's also deemed as the worst on Game Boy Advance. I personally disagree. I think this one's a lot of fun. Oh, it's not a lot of fun, but it has a lot. It's very fleshed out, if you ask me. It's developed by Vicarious Visions and, published by THQ. I've been saying that the whole video, and I'm drawing a blank. God damn it. Then we have Super Sponge on Game Boy Advance. I personally think this version is way better than the PS1 version. It still looks like a bootleg, but at least it's more playable, I suppose. I mean, look at this. Where the hell is SpongeBob right now? But yeah, this was also by Climax and THQ, so not much to say here. And then we have the Game Boy Advance version of, if I can get that back in there, Atlantis SquarePants. It shares a lot of the same elements as the DS game. It's also by THQ and Altron. I've not finished this one yet. I gotta continue on that. I think I was stuck at one point. So yeah, definitely gotta get back on that. And then, yeah, that's a problem. So let's finish off the these top ones that were up here. First we have backwards the Game Boy Advance version of Jimmy Neutron versus Jimmy Negatron. This version is terrible. Do not buy this one. It tries to mimic the PC version, which I haven't even gotten to yet. So once again, I'm skipping ahead. This was also by Humansoft. Guys, you should have stuck with 2D platformers. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, don't buy this one. It's not good. Really, it's not. Just don't. Also not good is the Fairly Odd Parents Enter the Cleft. I personally do not like this game. All of the enemies like to lunge at you, and I cannot beat the first level of this game. It's just not happening. Published by THQ, developed by, I think Altron also did this one. First Fairly Odd Parents game, and it's such a blow. So, yuck. Then we have the Simpsons Road Rage. Yeah, this got ported to Game Boy Advance. Yeah, this was also developed by Altron and published by THQ. Jesus Christ, like, what the hell? Okay, it's E-rated. Yes, E-rated Simpsons. This also doesn't have any shading, which is weird. Moving on, we have the Game Boy Advance version of the movie game. I think this is my first handheld SpongeBob game. This was published by THQ and developed by WayForward, which is also not mentioned again. Seems like it's never mentioned. Then we have the Wild Thornberrys Chimp Chase, which is published by the same people who did Dream Scheme right there. Yes, I don't remember much about this one. I haven't played much of it. It was published by THQ. There you go. And then finally for Game Boy Advance, we have the Wild Thornberrys movie game. And that has published by THQ and developed by Humansoft again. I think this was a straightforward port of the game, of the PC version, which, again, we'll get to. So, Jesus Christ. Well, let's wrap up the physical games with the small box PC games. Okay, let's scrape right through these. Here we have the PC version of Garfield. This is the one that America ended up getting. Again, Hip Games and Code Monkeys. Not much to say there. And then also, similarly, Garfield: The Tale of Two Kitties, Game Factory and Asobo Studios. Not much else to say there. And then, let's move on to this stuff. You have Nicktoons Basketball. This also had a flip open thing. There we go. And this was developed by Imagine Engine and published by THQ. It says on the back it was developed by Digital Eclipse, although they are not credited in the game. So I don't know what that's about. So I don't know if there's a different version of this game that was developed by them. I have no idea. Then we have Nicktoons Winners Cup Racing. This also has the same flip open thingy. This looks like a Nick.com game, honestly. Weird. It's published by THQ and developed by, I can't read that. Pronto Games. Hilarious. Yeah, it has all the characters, all the heroes and villains from Nicktoons Unite, so you gotta call this Nicktoons Unite Racing. Ha ha ha. Okay, then we have the worst Rugrats game ever made, Rugrats All Growed Up. Angelica just insults you the whole game, and I hate that, so yeah. This was developed by same people who did Rocket Power Extreme Arcade games. That probably explains it. And then it was published by THQ. So, yeah, there you go. Then we're moving on to Rugrats Go Wild. This is the PC version. I never really played this one. I'm actually going to play it recently. Did not get that in good condition because the seller did not show that. So that's a gamble you got to take with these games. And I think this also has, yep, it also has that. So there you go. Nice, nice. Then we have Rugrats Munchinland. Probably the fastest way to get sued by MGM. Oh wait, no, then again, I think Wizard of Oz and all the Oz books are public domain, so it doesn't matter. It's a Mario Party or a board game. I don't know what this game's trying to be. It's weird. It was published by THQ and developed by No Wonder again. How do you like that? And I think they also did this one, and I just skipped right over them. Okay, it doesn't say. I think this might have been Imagine Engine. I'm not so sure. Then we have Totally Angelica Boredom Buster. I have it on this side because this side's wrecked. Once again, yeah. I got no comment, basically. It's a cheap activity center. I think this was published by THQ. No, actually, no. This was originally published by Mattel, but this is a re-release from THQ. So, yeah, that's a bit confusing. And I think it was developed by No Wonder again. They're popping up a lot. Then we have Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. This was published by THQ and developed by Aw Productions. It shares a lot of the similarities with one of the SpongeBob PC games, which we'll get to. I grew up with the Game Boy version of this, but never grew up with this one. This one is weird. So, yeah. Then we have, I just opened it up, Yiko, Shrek 2 for PC. This is different from the console game.
this is a 3D platformer. It's weird controls, but it is fine, honestly. Apparently, I think people complained that this wasn't the same game, or basically the console game sold so well that they ended up porting that game to PC under a different name. I think it was like Team Action or something. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but something around those lines. But yeah, this one's okay. I might cover this one at some point. I was almost going to cover it in like 2020 or something, but something screwed up recording and I never retried it. So yeah, needless to say, and that was Activision, and no wonder again. Jesus Christ, they're showing up everywhere. But yeah, then we have the PC version of Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is different from the console game that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. I realize that that is not right. Christ, there we go. Alright, it has this as well. This was developed by Aw Productions, or Aw Games as they're often known by, and it was published by THQ. The usual. So, yeah. Kind of funny. The back of this game, back of this box represents the console games back, but the CD case inside has the same back as the Game Boy game. It's kind of weird. I'm not pulling it out to show you, but so you'll have to take my word for it, or look it up, whatever floats your boat. Here we have SpongeBob Employee of the Month. This is probably the most memorable, the one that everyone remembers for SpongeBob's point-and-click games. It was published by THQ and developed by Aw Productions. Yeah, it's fine. I like it. It's better than that Mickey Mouse game, or both of them for that matter. Then we have my favorite of the Aw Productions SpongeBob games, SpongeBob Lights Camera Pants, for PC. This also has a different story, in terms of saving the show. This one's actually really cool. This one's wild. Let me just say that. Out of all the SpongeBob PC games, I'd say this one is my favorite. It's also same devs, Aw Productions, THQ, the huge. Same with the next one, although I'd say this is just weird. SpongeBob Nighty Nightmare. This is essentially, whoopsie, the PC version of Creature from the Krusty Krab. And it's meh, honestly. I don't really have much to say about this one. I don't really like it. Sorry. Then we have, this is a small box version of Employee of the Month. It's pretty much the same. I only own this because I found it extremely cheap. So there you go. Then we have Jimmy Neutron versus Jimmy Negatron. This is the PC version. Very much in the same vein as the console, the PC version of Jimmy Neutron up there. I like this one. This is actually better, actually. I played a demo of this relentlessly as a kid on a demo disc. So, needless to say, I was really happy to get the full copy. This wasn't the one I ended up getting as a kid, but you know what I mean. It's basically that. Then we have the Fairly Odd Parents Breaking the Rules. This is like a cheap re-release with like a paper, whatchamacallit, in there. I replaced it with a thin plastic CD case. But yeah, this version was handled by THQ, obviously, and it doesn't say something Gorilla or something. I don't remember. But yeah, that one's meh. Has a slightly different story. Now we have the Fairly Odd Parents Shadow Showdown for PC. This was published by THQ and developed by Imagine Engine. I did grow up with this one as well. I played a demo of Breaking the Rules, although I didn't really like that one. This one is fine. It's just basic, though. Can't really say much about it. So, yeah, not much there. Then we have the PC version of the SpongeBob movie game, yet another point-and-click game. I remember seeing this in stores, actually. I think at Target. I never bought it, though, sadly, but I now own it, so there you go. This is also a point-and-click game. It was also by Aw Productions and THQ, so there you go. Not much to say there. Then we have, if I could get this back in there, the Wild Thornberrys movie game. This is a re-release. If it was not a re-release, it would have the whatchamacallit, I forgot what it was called. It was also by Human Soft due to the Game Boy version, so that's interesting. It's pretty much the same thing, just more fancier. Not much to say there. Then we have some weird stranglers here, or stragglers. We have My Sims. Yeah, what, Peanut Butter Gamer stuff? Why does he hate that game again? I don't remember. He never explains it. He never explains anything. I love this game. I don't care what anyone says. I love My Sims. EA, I forgot who developed this. I don't care. I used to play this on Wii all the time, but now I own the PC version with online features that don't work anymore. At least I don't think they do. I don't know. I'm scared. This video is going to be a million controversies in one. Then we have Microsoft 3D Movie Maker. I don't have the original box for this game. I wish I did, but it's as rare as a blue moon and probably expensive too. But you know what? I like this game. I made my movie, which was a Thomas movie. I'm pathetic. I know. Again, I've said this before. You should pick this up by now, or you've accepted that. If so, then thank you very much. If not, then I don't blame you. But yeah, and I also have, because I'm, again, Nickelodeon collector, Nickelodeon 3D Movie Maker. I wish I had this in the original box. One day. I am pathetic. Okay, no, I think I'll be content with this, actually. I'm content with this, considering this alone doesn't go for... This alone goes for pretty high prices nowadays. Or, like, not cheap, but you know what I mean. I got this, like, on Amazon for, like, 20 bucks or so. Nowadays, it's like 50 or 40 or 30. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. And that is all of my physical games. Oh, wait, no, there are some that I wasn't going to include, but screw it. Let's include them. All right, sorry about the dog hair. It's just a thing, obviously. So, here's some extras. I don't know if I really should count these, but whatever. Some plug-and-play games. Here we have the SpongeBob one. This is the original one from 2003, 2004. I don't exactly remember one. All of these games are from Jack Specific, unless they were developed by certain people, and I just don't know. It could go either way. Single button. It's like an Atari controller, just SpongeBob's face, pretty much. His nose is pretty long, though, so that's a little weird. His eyes are scuffed up, but I got this thing cheap only because I bought it on the fly, only because I accidentally bought the wrong thing. So, yeah, it is what it is. Then we have a Nickelodeon one, basic. Also, same people. And then I also have the game key in here, which you see there contains 2 extra games. So, yeah, very clicky buttons. Here's another one for Nicktoons. This is Nicktoons Summer Camp. Very bizarre concept for a game. That's a very, very noisy. But, yeah, this is literally a marshmallow. That's confusing as all hell. And then we have the SpongeBob game that I mistaken the original one for. This is a re-release of the plug-and-play game Jellyfish Dodge. They just kind of reused a similar shell, except with 2 buttons instead of 1. Yeah, that's a my bad, honestly. So, yeah. And yeah, these are some plug-and-play games. Alright, now let's get to the digital games. Alright, time for digital games. We're starting out with Steam, since that seems about right. We have Bendy and the Dark Revival from, Kindly Beast or Joey Juice Studios, whatever they're called. Bendy and the Ink Machine, and Boris and the Dark Survival. I used to be in a huge Bendy phase. I grew out of it, though. So, yeah, that's just a weird fact about me. I have the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on here as well, because I got that for, like, a really good deal. It was, like, on sale, really big deal. Then we got Cuphead. That was also on sale as well, so that was why I grabbed that. And then Gary's Mod. I've had that for a long time. I've chucked a lot of hours into that. Lego Worlds, I never really was crazy about this one. I think it might have been the first Steam game I got. Yeah, I don't really do Steam that much if you couldn't tell. All-Star Brawl and Kart Racers 2 I also got on sales. That's why I only have them. I barely played them if you couldn't tell. Portal 1 and Portal 2. I think I used to have this one on PS3. I don't remember. I think I lost it. But, needless to say, Portal 1 is a great game. I do need to continue on Portal 2, though. This is the demo for Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. I liked it. Not much to say there. I don't even know why I have this here, considering it's not even the full game. Showdown Bandit is made by the same people who made Bendy. I think that franchise is practically dead. So, yeah, I made a video of that, and it went horribly wrong. Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I bought this on sale as well. I don't even know why I did. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, same thing. I got that on sale. And then VR Chat. And yeah, that's all for Steam. So let's move on to consoles. Alright, here we are on Wii. By the way, have you noticed that my microphone quality is better than my phone microphone? That's like, yeah, inconsistency alert. This is Wii. Now, I should point out that some of these I did not obtain legitimately from the Wii Shop channel, and other consoles, for that matter, that you're about to see. But most of them I did buy, so I'm not going to go saying which ones I did and which ones I didn't. That will be up to you, because I got my own history of HB, if you know what I mean. Alright, start here. We have Donkey Kong. We have Donkey Kong Jr. We have Mario Bros. We have Wrecking Crew. We have Super Mario Brothers. I did actually have Donkey Kong 3 and Donkey Kong Jr. Math because I was an idiot, but I just didn't have them downloaded. I don't have them downloaded for the time of this video, so sorry. Super Mario Bros. 2, I myself fell for the poison mushroom because I'm an idiot.
Super Mario Brothers 2 American. I should have said Lost Levels here. It said it right there. I'm an idiot. Super Mario Brothers 3. I wasted all of my money on the Virtual Console, if you couldn't tell. That's where all of my allowance went. Super Mario World. Sonic the Hedgehog. Super Mario Kart, which was actually one of the first VC games I got. Super Mario 64. Mario Kart 64, which was the other first VC game that I got, because I was getting into Mario Kart. Mario Golf, which was obviously, you know, game Camelot. Super Smash Brothers. I really wish this was on NSO. Obviously, HAL Laboratories. Mario Party 2, that's Hudson. Mario Tennis, it was Waluigi's debut. And, again, Camelot. Paper Mario, that was Intelligent Systems. Fantastic game. Dr. Mario Online Remix, developed by, I forgot how to pronounce their name. Alright, and that's it for Wii, so let's move on to 3DS.
Alright, now for 3DS games that I have digitally, I have 3D Classics, Kirby's Adventure, which was developed by, I don't know how to pronounce that. I have the 3DS version of Luigi's Mansion. I prefer the GameCube version myself, but I do like some of the stuff that this one does. Still not my preferred version. I forgot who handled this port. Physical copies for this one are expensive nowadays. It's absurd. Then we have WarioWare Snapped, which is a DSiWare game. I bought this around the time the eShop was closing. I've heard bad things about it, but I was curious, so I had to jump on and try to play it. Then we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong Minis March Again. This was one of the first DSiWare games I bought. So there you go. Mario Clock. I don't even know if this counts as a game, but whatever. Then we have Mario Bros. On NES. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Virtual Console NES, you know what I mean. Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 3. Donkey Kong Original Edition. I was not a Club Nintendo member, so moving on. Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, Yoshi, Pac-Man, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2, Kirby's Dream Land, Donkey Kong, Game & Watch Gallery 1, 2, and 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And, I mean, it's pretty obvious I was not a 3DS ambassador. So, let's move on.
All right, here we are on Wii U. First up, we have Minecraft on Wii U. I bought that specifically for the Mario stuff that they were adding to it. NES Remix. Super Mario Maker, I told you I had that. Dr. Luigi, this is actually one of the last things I bought from the eShop before it closed. Mario Party 10, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Mario Golf, Donkey Kong 64, Mario Party 2, Mario Tennis, Paper Mario, Super Mario Advance, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland, Game & Watch Gallery 4, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, I don't know why that one's backwards, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, I said that wrong, Mario Pinball Land. This game is actually terrible. This is one of the examples of me buying a game on a limb and it just does not land well. Super Mario 64 DS, Mario Party Advance, Mario Kart DS, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, New Super Mario Brothers. I used to own this one physically, but once I got this, I pretty much got rid of it. Same with Super Mario 64 DS, Mario Hoops 3-on-3, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis, Yoshi's Island DS, and Mario Party DS. As you see, I tried to get as many of these DS Virtual Console games as I could. I just ate them up like candy. So, yeah, it's kind of sad that there wasn't no efficient way to play DS games on TV, but oh well, this is as close as you could get. PS3, I really didn't feel like dealing with my HDMI splitter with this one, since PS3 capture is a little weird.
So here we go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time Reshelled. I did not obtain that with normal means because, I mean, I wasn't into Ninja Turtles at the time. And then the Simpsons arcade game. I did obtain this by normal means around the time period. It's sad that this didn't stick around, but whatever. I kind of wish I got it on Xbox 360, but, you know, not all of us are lucky.
All right, here we are on Switch. So we have Arcade Archives Donkey Kong. I think Hamster something made all these. Arcade Archives Donkey Kong 3. Arcade Archives Donkey Kong Jr. Arcade Archives Mario Bros. Arcade Archives Pac-Man. Arcade Archives Sky Skipper, which is actually a rather interesting game. Arcade Archives versus Super Mario Brothers. Bendy and the Ink Machine, again, that whole deal. Game Boy NSO. Is it even fair to count these since they're just a bunch of games? I don't know. I'll count them. Game Boy Advance NSO. Down here, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I got that one digitally. That's why you didn't see that. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. I do not have the toy that goes with this. I only downloaded the software to see if there was any chance of playing this without it. There is not. So, yeah. Minecraft on Switch. I also have Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl on Switch as well, digitally. Same thing as the Steam situation. It was on sale. N64 NSO, at the mature games. I hope Conker gets added, but I'm doubtful. I don't think Nintendo would want to acknowledge the fact that Conker was once associated with them, because they'd have to use the original Nintendo ROM. NES NSO, Sega Genesis NSO, Rehydrated on Switch. Same reason. It was on a big sale. SpongeBob Krusty Cook-Off. It's literally a port of a mobile game, but it's $30. I got this on sale for like $5. And I didn't want to pay much for it anyway, but okay. And then Super Mario Odyssey. I got that one digitally, so that's why that wasn't physical. And then Super Nintendo NSO. And that's all for Switch, so let's finish this up with Xbox. And finally, Xbox, and I have that all here. These are all of the digital games I have. We have Miss Pac-Man. Sad that didn't come to Arcade Archives. Oh, well, I guess I understand why. Pac-Man, Bendy and the Ink Machine. That was on sale. That's why I have that. Disney Dreamstorm, although it's not downloaded. I don't know. I couldn't get into that game. Disneyland Adventures. DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. Minecraft on here as well. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Already addressed that I bought these digitally first. Sonic Adventure. I do need to get Sonic Adventure 2 at some point. Sonic the Fighter. Sonic the Fighters. I said it wrong. Yike. SpongeBob Underpants Slam. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And that's it. Alright, time to end the video.
And that's everything. Yeah, that was long, wasn't it? Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see how this video turns out when I edit it together. Hopefully it's not as long as my Nickelodeon video game collection video. I go into fuller detail about some of the stuff there, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you all soon.